Okay, and we are live. Welcome to the stream. Gonna be playing some World of Warcraft this afternoon and tanking M plus dungeons. Let's get some tunes going here. Tunes, there we go. Okay. And we are live. Okay, let me just double check that YouTube and Kick look okay. Yep. 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 Okay. Very good. Alright. So we're just gonna run Arky, start a group. 14 Darkheart. Looks good. Let's do it. Uh, 463, 1796. Who's this? Shadow Priest? Give it a minute. Nah, not these guys. Yeah, alright. Take those two along. Where are the healers? Need one more DPS. Okay, just need a healer and we're good to go. Healers, where are my healers at? Healers? Any healers live? Hello? Any healers out there? Anybody want to heal? Guess not. Come on now, healer friends. What you doing? Where are my healers at? Well, I suppose we can go wait by the time ways portal. Boom. Okay. Healers? Usually don't have to wait this long. I'm a tank. I guess with a lock, a priest, and a warrior, we don't have a bloodlust. That's okay. We shouldn't really need it at 14. There we go. That's a healer. You're invited. Welcome. Okay. Go into Darkheart Thicket. Darkheart Thicket. That one is that Valshura? I'm pretty sure that is Valshura. Nice tunes. I like this playlist. Gotta get on the flying mount, and then up this way. The Wildwood discovered. Nice, nice. Yeah, didn't play during Legion, so this is like all kind of content I never saw when it was new. That's okay though. Apparently Legion was a good expansion. Shouldn't have missed that one, I guess. Sounds like Warlords of Draenor is consensus the worst expansion there's been. I think I might have played Warlords of Draenor for like 30 minutes and then quit. Yep. Okay.
I can't use that.
We missing anybody? Guys here, summon priest. Guys right next to me. Sure. Okay, that looks good. That should be everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's a cool looking staff. I wonder what that weapon is. Nice transmog. Probably in a Legion artifact, if I had to guess. So we got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Thank you for the feast. Always appreciated. Okay. We will ready check.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And off we go. Okay, gotta remember my buttons. Okay, I think I'm remembering them. That's good. Oh, healer, what you doing? Why are these guys dying? Why are people dying? Nobody should be dying. Oh my gosh, why is this person getting killed by shit? Am I confused about something? Like, I can't take aggro on those. They just pursue whoever they want. Is it the dot killing people? Is the healer failing? Like, what is going on here? It's like, that wasn't even a big pull. Like, why are people dying when it's not even a big pull? What is going on here? Are they just, like, standing and shit? Is it the healer just not healing? Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be okay. Hey, kitty man, how you doing?
Those who challenge me only speed themselves to an agonizing death. So says the shadow of Xavius. Be still, worm. I will deal with you shortly.
Wish my sound would stop turning off. I really gotta remember to change that keybind, so I keep accidentally just turning my sound off. Okay. This is looking quite a bit better. Go up here. This is what everybody does. I don't really know why, but, you know, whatevs. Yep, we're definitely gonna want to hit some cooldowns here. This was probably too big of a hole. Yep, pulled too much. Let's get that right. That one may have been me. I think we still cleared like a whole pack there, though. Yeah.
I'm out of range.
Yeah. Are we just not getting heals or what? Like, what's going on here? Healer's okay, right here.
I need to get closer.
Okay. That went a lot better. Okay. Hey, how's it going, Nancy David? How you doing today? And Glenn Davis, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, guys. Just tanking some Darkheart Thicket right now. Not going so smooth, unfortunately. Very good. Glad to hear you're doing well, Nancy. You guys both WoW players? Oh, okay, I got ads I gotta pick up. Uh-oh. I should probably stop standing in that red stuff, too. There we go. You know, I wouldn't say this is my favorite game. I have been enjoying it lately. I haven't played WoW in a very long time until like a couple weeks ago. I came back for the current patch, basically. Last time I played was probably like 2013-ish.
smell the night.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying it though. It's cool to be back.
Or suffer nature's wrath.
I do like variety streaming, so and I do play a variety of games. Like some other games I stream are Magic the Gathering Arena. I'm also a pretty big Final Fantasy XIV player. Haven't been playing that too much lately, just because we're kind of in a content lull for that game. But that's like probably my go-to MMO, I would say. But yeah, as far as on the stream, I do a variety of stuff. I also do like Diablo 4 and some Last Epoch, and I'm going to be doing Path of Exile in a couple of weeks when, or I think next week, I guess, is when the new season comes out. And in a little bit, actually, Diablo 4 is doing that, the dev stream, the campfire chat. So I'll probably tune into that and just watch that and comment on it as that's going. I'll have to update all the stream info. So right now I don't have a job. This is all I'm doing for work. So let's see, in the past I've worked in biotech quite a bit. Basically my whole career was in biotech. And I got laid off in July and decided I really didn't want to work in biotech anymore. So gonna see how I do with the streaming. So far, you know, I'm not monetized or anything. Fortunately, my finances are okay to support me for a bit, but you know, it's we'll see how this turns out. I don't think I'll ever make this like, you know, a full path to making money, but to like having income. But right now I'm just focused on you know, doing what makes me happy, which is not being in biotech 40 hours a week. That was definitely not making me happy. So yeah, I do have a Discord. I generally don't give it out on the stream. If you want to hang out like till the end of the stream, I'd be happy to give it out. But that probably won't be for a few hours. And I've been streaming for about a month now or so. Started in late October, it's now late November, so yeah, about a month. But I'm enjoying it, you know. Get some nice people coming in to chat on the regular. No, I don't give out my Discord during the stream because I can't really like look at Discord while I'm streaming and playing games and stuff, and you know, like trying to read the chat and all that. But if you want to hang out till the end of the stream, I could continue chatting with you on Discord after. But yeah, it's a lot easier for me to just, you know, respond to the Discord, respond to the Twitch or, you know, stream chat. So I'm not looking to buy any artwork right now. If you want to do some art for free, I could put it on the channel and give you credit for it, but I'm definitely not looking to buy anything. So if that's the only reason you're here, sorry, I'm not your guy. But, you know, if you're just looking for some publicity, I'd be more than happy to use some custom artwork that you could provide and, you know, give you credit for it and help spread awareness of your work. But yeah, definitely not looking to buy anything. Thanks for asking, though. Yeah, I probably get like 3 or 4 people in here like every single day I stream asking the same thing, basically. In fact, I'd say like 90% of the traffic to my channel is probably people just coming in here trying to get me to buy their artwork, so, you know, forgive me if I sound a little jaded, but yeah, it's I'm just kind of used to you guys coming in and asking me to buy artwork at this point. Don't take that the wrong way, like I don't mind, it's nice having people to chat with, but yeah, I'm just not looking to buy artwork, sorry. This is going okay. Healer's not dead yet. I like it when my healers are still alive, you know? Healers are good people. They have a tough job. They're like the essential workers of MMORPGs, or of video games in general. Uh-oh, somebody died. I don't think that was my fault. This healer might be struggling, like they have a ton of mana, but they're basically dying, or letting people die. Like, I'm not really sure if that's a me issue or if that's a them issue. I think it's probably a them issue. Okay. He's looking pretty okay though. I think we might still time this. Probably not, but you know. It's okay, I guess my key will go down to a 13 after this. It only gets easier every time we fail. But yeah, I don't know why this has been, like, so difficult. Like, I don't know if the DPS just suck or what. It just, like, it feels like lately, I've just been having a ton of trouble with, like, these groups actually, like, finishing dungeons on time. And, like, maybe it's my tanking? I don't know. I'm still new to the tanking. I feel like I do a lot more damage than these guys do, though. Oh, I was gonna look up the mechanics for this next boss too, because I don't really know what he does. All I know is I have to use my shield on something to not die. And there I just used my shield to get out of a fear, so that's no good. I'm probably gonna die on the boss then. Or maybe I just need to be using cooldowns more. Maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe I'm just like not hitting my defensives enough. Not really sure. Okay. Boss time.
My bark is worse than my bite.
Throw my shield, throw my hammer, just, you know, doing pally stuff. We throw a shield, we throw a hammer. It's all good. I feel like I am supposed to be attacking these roots. Like, I can't be certain, because, like, I don't see other people doing it, but, like, I feel like that's gotta be what you do here. There I go, I'm probably dead here.
See you next fall.
Yeah, I just have no idea. Maybe I'm just supposed to stand in the roots for that one to not get ganked. Dead again. Okay. I don't know. I just don't know, man.
See you next fall.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
See you next fall.
I just don't know, man.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummels, like you.
Like, I guess I'll just try standing in one of those roots this time when he's casting uproot. Like, I don't know what else to do there, really. Yeah, I'm not sure what that mechanic does. I was going to look it up.
My bark is worse than
Yeah, okay, so these guys have to kill ads. I figured that was kind of the issue. And, like, I don't mean to just, like, blame other people and shit, but, like, yeah, it's, you know, like, there are ads here, so why aren't they going down? They gotta kill ads. They're the DPS. I'm a tank. Okay, so that didn't work. I stood in the roots that time when he was casting uproot. Like, am I just supposed to outrange him? Probably not. Okay, he's dead. I wasn't fast enough to save him.
See you next fall.
Nice.
A pity you have come this far only to die at the hands of Xavius.
An empty threat. You
Okay.
hold no sway over this realm.
Let's see, this guy is what, a disc priest? Yeah.
Bold words for a prisoner.
I don't know, maybe I just need to stop
Even
inviting
Echo
disc
of my
priests.
power was
No, I
enough
guess he
to
healed fine there.
overwhelm
That was not the issue there. Oh, is this not the right way? Whoops. It's not the right way. I just want to kick the fucking warlock. I'm so tired of the fucking question marks, man. Gosh. I'm just tired of pugging in this game. Holy shit. Like, I am just really, really tired of pugging. Okay.
It's too far away.
So, if anyone's in chat, remind me before the next dungeon that I need to look up that mechanic on Oakheart. Hmm. I think that's the laundry finishing. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I can barely hear it through my headphones. I'll have to, Hey, how's it going, Eva Calesta? Eva Calesta? How you doing today? Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Good, glad to hear it. You a WoW player? Oh, you know, I'm fine. Same old. Just doing the Mythic Plus dungeon grind here. Okay. Yeah, more or less. I try to stream every weekday. Took a break last week for the holiday and stuff, but and then my power was out for a couple days, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm back and stream 10 to 5 Eastern pretty much every day. I do a variety of games. It's not always World of Warcraft, but World of Warcraft this afternoon. May actually switch over to Diablo 4 in a little bit, because that dev stream is going on, so I'll check that out and see how the devs feel about the future of the game. Ads. Got ads. Thanks, appreciate that. I'm in the living room. Is the dog on the stream? No, you can't see the dog. The dog's nearby. She's just chilling. She's a good puppy. Sometimes she shows up on the stream. Sometimes the cats show up on the stream too. Damn, I think we could have timed this one if we just had like 1 or 2 fewer wipes. Some of which were definitely my fault. Yes, I do have a dog. She's somewhere. She's around. Actually, I don't know where she is. She's usually hanging out right behind me. She sometimes is visible in the background. Hey, puppy dog, come here. Good girl. All right, she should be showing up briefly. Hang on, I gotta make sure I don't die here. All right, 1 sec. After this pull, I'll get the camera, or after the next pull, rather. When we get up this hallway. She is right here though. Hey, puppy, how you doing? Yeah, she's a sweet baby. You want to get on the camera? Yeah? I'll bet you do. Okay. Oh, I need to heal. I need to heal. Okay. Sorry, I just don't want to let this group down. They've been real troops putting up with me here, but I will get the dog on the camera in a minute. She is right here. Oh, yeah, you're a sweet puppy. You are a sweet, sweet puppy. Thank you for coming to visit today. Oh, yes. Fucking... Healer, what you doing, man? Where are the heals? Okay, well... Now I can show you. Hey, puppy? Oh, yeah, you're a sweet baby. Welcome to the stream. There you go. There we go. She's a good dog. Very sweet puppy. Just the camera, that's a little better. There we go. Yeah, you're a good girl. Oh, yes, you're a sweet puppy. I don't know if I pulled too fast or if healer just wasn't keeping up or what. Like, I feel like I'm blaming the healers so often that, like, it's gotta be me. Thank you. I'm glad you like the dog. She's a good puppy. I like her too. I'm very lucky to have such a good dog. Oh, guys, don't hit the eggs. We don't want to spawn any more whelps. Okay. Almost done with this dungeon. I don't know if I want to keep tanking this stuff, honestly. Tanking sucks. And, like, I don't know if it's me or if it's just, like, the groups that I'm with. Like, I don't know. I definitely had, like, a couple runs where I tanked and, like, they went totally fine. Let's see. She just gets, like, a weight management kibble kind of stuff, you know, it's not, like, super low quality or anything. I think we get it at Costco, usually. She also really likes cat food. That's probably her favorite thing ever. Cause yeah, we got cats too, and when the cats are done eating, she goes around and licks their bowls clean. That's probably her absolute favorite thing to do in life. You're a good dog. Okay, there we go.
I'm out of range. You wish to die. So be it.
So I'm from Vermont, in the U.S. It's in New England, northeastern New England. Yeah, I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere. Like, the nearest grocery store is like 15 minutes away from me. Nearest gas station's also about that far. It's different living out here. It's cold. It's cold and snowy. We got a bunch of snow over the weekend and lost power for a couple days, which was quite unfortunate. But we're back. How about you? Where are you from? Oh, okay. I went to London once when I was very, very young, probably like 10 years old, and I've never been back, unfortunately, but I had a good time there. Don't really know anyone who lives there now.
Well-earned victory. We must,
GG, thank you for party, guys. I've seen worse.
Remains unvanquished. The enemy you fought.
Oh man, my key. My key went down to 13 Waycrest. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go grab my coffee. One sec. Okay. Got our coffee ready for more Mythic Dungeons. Actually, might switch it. No, we can probably do one more before we switch over to the D4 stream. Yeah, also I think I want to readjust this again. Is that looking good? Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. There we go. Okay. So right now I don't do anything. I've worked in biotech before. You know, like my whole career was basically in biotech. I got laid off in July and realized that working a job like that was making me very unhappy. So I'm trying to stream instead, I guess. Not sure if I'll ever really be monetized doing this, but I definitely don't plan to get back into biotech because I did not really enjoy it. It was making me very unhappy for a long time. So yeah, right now, no other job. This is all I do. And I make some YouTube videos too once in a while, but that's not really work or anything. But yeah, for work I don't really do anything. Not right now, at least. All right, so no, I'm married. My wife, she works remotely 3 days a week, and today is one of the days that she is in the office. She works a couple towns over, like maybe 25 minutes away. But yeah, we live together, no kids or anything, so yeah, we just us and the cats and the dog. Right, puppy? Yeah, she's a sweet baby. Sweet, sweet puppy. Yeah, nice quiet living up in Vermont. Just us and the pets. Don't even know our neighbors. Maybe we just run someone else's key. I could also switch to those boots, I guess. Yeah, I've been streaming since like late October maybe, so not too long. But I'm enjoying it so far. It's pretty chill. Get to just play the video games I like and chat with people all day. That's pretty nice. There are definitely worse things to be spending my time doing. Let's see. Yeah, pretty new to it. You know, I've been doing it for about a month. I wouldn't say that's too long. But yeah, I do a variety of games, you know, just kind of whatever I feel like playing that day. For the most part, it's like, you know, WoW, Diablo 4, Magic the Gathering, a little bit of Last Epoch, a little bit of Final Fantasy 14. I think I'm going to stream some Lethal Company at some point, because I've been playing that with friends in the evenings. I don't normally stream during the day. I usually don't stream past like 5 p.m. East, but I may do a later stream one of these days when I'm playing Lethal Company, since that game has been silly fun. Let's see. Okay, so that one's gonna cost me to upgrade. Oh wait, is this one free to upgrade? Really? Yeah, we'll definitely upgrade that. Some great ideas, huh? What'd you have in mind? Oh, that's cool. What do you study? Oh, is this one also cheap to upgrade? No way. Oh, that's super nice. Okay. So we can take that straight to 476. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. You like what you study?
May I serve you again?
Let's see, can we upgrade that? We can't quite upgrade that all the way. Maybe to 7 out of 8? 6 out of 8. Yeah, let's upgrade this to 6 out of 8. Oh, okay. I figured it might be an accounting thing. Yeah, I've got a very close friend who's an accountant, and he seems to really like what he does. So that's pretty cool. Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I've thought about going back to school for accounting, mostly because that friend of mine who I just mentioned is because he's an accountant, he really likes it. And it's one of those jobs that's always in demand. It's definitely a good career field if you've got, the disposition for that kind of work. I hear it's a lot of bookkeeping, bit of math, a lot of memorizing rules. So, that all sounds like pretty fair stuff to do. But yeah, again, if that's, if it's something you enjoy, like, or if, something you can stomach at least, like, yeah, I think that's a great career path for anyone who's capable of doing that kind of work. Like, my buddy is definitely, he's a very smart guy, and I know he's really good at it, or I'm sure he's really good at it. I've never hired him for his services, but he's good at most of the things he does because he's a really smart dude, so I'm sure he is a successful accountant too. And he's been working at the same place for I think like a year now, and seems like he's been really happy there. But yeah, he did something similar where he was a part-time student and working full-time, and he went on to get his master's in accounting, I believe, while working full-time for the university where he lived, for one of the universities near where he lived in Virginia. But yeah, he's been pretty happy with that career path, I think. Okay, I am going to switch over to D4 now for that dev stream, so bear with me just a moment here. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer. My father-in-law passed away last year. It was actually just about a year ago from this month. And it was very difficult. It's always tough to lose someone. I'm sorry to hear that. I think I need to set up a new window capture here. New window. Okay, we're just gonna call this browser. Let me actually make the window and get it into position here. D4? D4? Okay. I'd be happy to take a look, Eva, but I'm not really looking to buy anything right now. So I just want to be transparent. Like I'm not looking to buy any artwork and stuff, but if you're just looking for someone to, use your artwork and give you credit for it, I'd be more than happy to do that. But yeah, I'm not looking to spend any money on artwork right now, unfortunately. Sorry. So let me pause the music. Let me see if the audio for this is coming through. Okay, so it does look like that audio is coming through. Perfect. So I do have a Discord. I don't really have any other socials. But I'd be happy to share that at the end of the stream today. I usually ask people, I don't share my Discord during the stream because I can't really chat on Discord and read the chat and focus on a game or something else at the same time. So if you want to hang out till the end of the stream in a few hours, I'd be more than happy to share it then. But I can't share it right now. Mm. Diablo 4. Okay. Updating the stream info on all these services. Okay, and one more to edit here. Okay. These should all be updated. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, so they just came out right. They just came right out front and said it. That they're not doing pay to win. Cool. Good. Glad to hear that. I can't edge it right now. I just I don't use Discord while I'm on the stream. But again, if you want to hang out till the end of the stream, I'll share my Discord then, and you can go ahead and add me at that time. Wow, I can't believe they just came right out and said this. That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. Oh, whoops. I gotta send this to the front. Move up. Move to top. There we go. Okay. See, I've been interested to hear about this too. What are they gonna do for what are they gonna do for a seasonal event? Christmas event. So we're about to find out. Hey, a bard. Pretty cool. Okay. Nice loot. Loot, Lute, not Loot. I mean, we can talk on Discord later. I just I can't really do it while I'm streaming. That's all. But again, I'm not trying to buy anything. So if you only want to chat to try to sell me artwork or something, it's kind of a waste of your time. Just want to be upfront with you. But hey, if you're just looking to be friends, that's cool. I'm a friendly guy. More than happy to chat off of the stream. But again, not until the stream is over. Wow, this stuff's pretty vile. Look at these guys. Oh, I wonder, I could probably just move this over and it'll still capture, right? Yeah, it does. Perfect. All right, so I need a third monitor. Lesson learned. Okay. Alright, so XP bonus, that's nice. So is there a loot though? New items? Yeah, I can totally add you after the stream. That's totally fine. Abattoir of Deer, yay! Abattoir of Deer. There we go. Ring the bell. The celebratory bell. So that's really soon. That might even be sooner than the Path of Exile season. Okay, it'll be a few hours till I'm done streaming. I usually stop around 5 East, but I can add you then. Or, you can always come check out the stream again tomorrow. I'm live most days around 10 or 11 a.m. East. Ooh, sweet. We get the showcase. All right. Wow, good dev chat today. Oh, and I think he's playing Ball Lightning Source too. Damn. They know what's up. All right. See you later, Eva. Have a good one. Good to hear. So it sounds like Avatar of Zero is only for this season. I wonder if it'll be a permanent add to the game. Like, it sounds like it's not going to be on the Eternal Realms, is what I'm picking up from this. At least not until after season 2 ends. Okay, so this looks just like Greater Rift from D3, where it's got like the timer on the right, and you gotta kill stuff to stay ahead of the timer. Okay. Good. Okay, so this is just for season 2 then. Bummer that's coming in so late. If this had been the season at the start, this would have been sick. Okay, let's see it. Okay. Okay. It takes a lot to level up. Okay. Okay. Yep. I think we're right. We went on to see a 10. Oof. Smart. I like that. This guy's kind of smashing the tier 10. Like, granted, he's done this before and his build is set up for it, but he's not struggling too much in here. I struggled more than this in a tier 100 Nightmare Dungeon on my ball lightning source, I think. Good. There we go. Interesting. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to this. Definitely gonna check this out. Okay, yeah, let's hear it. That's actually hilarious. Oh my god. That's right. Why the 5-minute break, though? Okay. Still a big improvement. No, can you hear the volume here? Can you not hear the this stuff? What these guys are talking about? Thought you could. Oh shit. Alright, well there hasn't been anybody else watching anyway. One sec. I will add it, just hang on. That's weird because like it's coming through on my audio mixer. But I guess I have to add it separately.
Not working in a box where we're trying to get this right and show it to everyone. So all right, so Q&A. This again,
Now do you hear
my
it?
preamble again. This is a good opportunity for people in Twitch chat to be able to drop in questions. I know chat's moving quickly, but we have our
Just lowering the volume on it a little bit. Interesting.
Props to Lisa Casey in there right now and pulling specific questions for Q&A. I'm watching Rich. By the way, no one sees this. Rich is. We have a whiteboard in here. Rich is like.
Yeah, some good changes coming though.
Yeah. Midwinter Blight. This is a question that a lot of people.
All
have been
good news
asking.
here.
It ends. On
They're
January
increasing
2nd.
Helltide so that it's up
people
every hour
who are asking
for
if
55 minutes.
Midwinter Blight goes.
So there's only a 5-minute break between Helltides. I don't know what the point of that is, but
Abattoir Zero actually
really
goes
good
nearly to
change.
the end of the season.
That's right.
this
So,
Abattoir Zero that they're
players
talking
can
about is
check
like
out
Raider
Abattoir
Rips from
Zero
D3,
almost
so
all
it's
the way
like
through,
it's just like a new
the end
endgame
of the
content
season.
thing that they're adding.
Good reminders on these
It
end
basically
dates.
starts at like
I will say
Nightmare
that
Dungeon
there's a
100
question
and like goes
before
up
we
from
jump
there.
into questions from chat. There was a
So that's
question
cool,
that
and they've got
we get a lot
itemization
online
changes
from
planned
console players specifically related
for
to
season
gold
4,
trading that
unfortunately,
we wanna
but
actually address as well.
but yeah, cool
people
stuff.
Send me videos, and I totally understand.
And,
it has become very, very.
I think the Path of
tedious to
Exile
actually
stream already
trade gold.
started.
And
We'll
since
switch
gold-
over to that soon.
Gold accumulation has actually grown within season 2. It's become very tedious as a console player to trade gold using the UI and the user interface within the game.
There's been some gold.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, just so you're probably right. Just
I
so
know
that the
they have to,
cinders
like,
can't be
manually
carried
store
over,
the
basically,
gold,
or else it
and
would.
can
Yeah,
be
if
a
it
little
wasn't.
difficult.
If
I
it
will
was
say
up
that
24/7, yeah,
addressed.
you could just like bank a bunch of cinders and then
is
just
working
cash
on
them in
it, so
whenever,
that
I
will
guess,
now
or
be
yeah,
in, for
that's
season
smart.
3.
Yep.
So players on console
I do,
will get a little bit more, I guess, of a relief during that specific.
I
point.
do
Yeah,
want
you're
to
allowed
see
put in,
if
100 billion gold, whatever you want to put it.
Exactly. So I will jump
sorry,
into
if
questions
the
here. We have
Path of Exile stream has started.
Power Pig. Why is
Because I'm gonna be playing Path of
Exile
Exile this season.
Yeah, because we want it to go away at the end of the season. That's why. So because as I was kind of talking about a little bit earlier, but like the Abattoir of Zero.
Oh no, it starts later.
content
Okay, it
out
starts
there,
in
and
another
we really
45
wanna
minutes.
See how players interact with it. We want to see what people like about it, what they don't like about it. We want to be able to take that feedback and
Put that
incorporate
browser
that
over
into
here.
what
We'll switch to that one later.
you know, we are gonna be looking for more like
Okay. There we go.
You know, we say things like seasonal and evergreen. You know, we
Yeah,
are
I haven't
looking for
really
evergreen
played Path
pieces
of
in-game
Exile
content,
like
places
since
where
around
you can
release.
kind
I've
of
like
level up,
briefly
you know, the
played
base
it.
Diablo experience, particularly in that World Tier 4 environment.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be
You know,
checking
we
it
want
out.
people
I've
to
been
do
meaning
that
to
in a
check it
way
out.
that
I've
is
just been on like a
out
bender
there.
with
It's
the
intentional, right? So-
ARPGs
Yeah,
the past
I
few
think
months.
you were saying earlier, we want to make more content.
Basically, we got a new Path of Exile season coming in a couple weeks, and then D4 season 3 in January, and then Last Epoch full release in February.
Learn some stuff.
And honestly, among those Last Epoch is the one I'm most excited for. Like, Last Epoch is such an awesome game.
We get any sigils or sigil
It's nice, like,
power
rotating between them, though, because, like, none of these games can be played, like, 24/7, basically, so I'm excited to see what they do for, like, seasonal content in Last Epoch.
All right, and then
Since I think that's
guess
starting
this
with the
is
full
kind
release of the
similar
game.
To a question that you guys, the first question, which is from Mr.
But yeah, I do want to
Anime
hear
saying,
this
are we
Q&A
getting
too
any,
for D4. So there's
are we
usually
getting
good stuff
some
in the
sort of
Q&A here.
variation of this mode in future seasons, or
So I think they're asking about
are there
Abattoir
more
Zero, which is
plans
that new
related
endgame
to,
thing.
Endgame beyond Abattoir Zero for D4.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, in season 3, we know that we're gonna be launching the the gauntlet and the leaderboard systems and trials. It's like we're gonna have some endgame content there. We are looking at more content just like this.
Yeah, honestly, I
We will
think
be releasing it as well.
Last Epoch is like the best blend of like
ideas potentially for season 3.
casual and hardcore elements.
So we are
Like Path of
working through all
Exile
that
feels
right
too
now.
hardcore
Yes, we'll see
sometimes.
more
Like it's just like it's really difficult to get into as a new player.
Jump into Abattoir next
And
week
like
and
D4, there's like
tell
nothing
us
to do
about
for
it.
endgame.
Like,
So
love it.
I mean, they're adding more, which is good. But like, I still don't think the Abattoir of Zero is gonna be quite enough here.
Rimas?
So yeah, I feel like Last Epoch really struck the balance. It's got like so much you can do with alts and like build diversity and like a lot of endgame content and like there's plenty of different like grinds that you can do to for progression. It's Last Epoch is totally worth checking out. Highly recommend it. Definitely one of the best games I played this year.
Rima says, any news on?
Yeah, I think the full release is in February of next year, late February.
Things like that. This is a popular question we tend to get quite often. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you can answer too. I think we answered. We had a question like this at BlizzCon.
Yes.
And what I said, which continues to be true, is that we think that being able to filter your loot efficiently is a baseline part that should be part of all ARPGs, including Diablo 4. Some
That's
of the
good.
changes that we're planning coming up for itemization in Season 4, I think will help with that. We're going to look at those and look at the in the context of a loot filter as well. Like we're certainly not.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like a conclusive loot filter to me.
Something that we're looking at.
Yeah, it sounds like they don't have like a solid plan for it yet, actually.
The changes that we're making, but the changes to itemization are so significant that if we added a loot filter today, it wouldn't work after we changed them.
Yeah, there's gonna be significant changes. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's good if they change it in a way that you don't even need a loot filter, though. So that's good to hear. Like, they're definitely, like, every change they make to this game feels like a step in the right direction, which you can't always say about a lot of games.
Like, they're not really good for anybody. Nobody really wants shrine buff duration.
Yeah, I don't know what they really mean by that. Like, if they're just like changing all the affixes so that a loot filter they put in today wouldn't work with any of the same affixes, or if it means that like you're not gonna need a loot filter. Like those are two very different takes or something else entirely. So I don't know.
Question from It's Doffy. Are there
But yeah, Path of Exile has, I think it has built-in loot filters, I'm not sure. But Last Epoch has built-in loot filters for sure, and they work extremely well. Like, it's like the best loot filter I've ever seen in a game.
That'd be fun.
It's just a different kind of world boss.
And yeah, D4 is sorely lacking in that regard.
Plans for, like, I guess that it's that surprise type of element with enemies that come in.
Yeah, we love that the gameplay that we're getting from Bloodseekers, like dropping into dungeons occasionally. I think you see even just like the fights at the end of the Abattoir of Zero runs are already pretty fun because you don't really know what combination of affixes and Bloodseeker classes you're going to get when you kind of wrap things up. Looking for more interruption, disruptive content like that, that kind of creates this these bolts of excitement when you're going through like a content.
Hey, puppy.
You think you might already know.
Don't do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good
so you
girl.
mentioned world bosses.
Thank you.
And I was killing Treasure Beast last
Come here.
week. And
Yeah,
when
come
you
here.
stagger Treasure Beast,
Good
you
girl.
can actually get one of those little treasure goblins that pops out.
Yeah, you're a sweet
but
baby.
Loot isn't very good, so we're gonna fix that.
There we
Come
go.
here, my sweet
Not
puppy.
exactly.
Not exactly that,
not even remotely
but
attached to the question, but
Joe had that experience and wants to let everyone know that he's fixing that.
Look, I got one rawhide and 300 gold.
I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
A lot of people are going like Treasure Beast. What's that? That where we tend to use more internal names prior to when we actually develop real names.
The world boss with the big chest full of gold.
Exactly. So
Treasure Beast.
Ignore our internal. Hey guys.
That was his internal.
Yeah,
or utilize it and confuse everyone like we did.
Exactly.
Everest, the greed guy, I think.
You guys, I know that we've gotten questions about, we still get questions. We're still getting questions because people didn't see the beginning of the stream. We do want to confirm that we did talk about and address the questions we've been seeing a lot in the community related to pay for power that have been swirling around. People talking about, are you guys planning on adding pay for power in Diablo 4? And I know that we talked about it in the beginning. We have confirmed that we are not planning on adding pay for power in Diablo 4. So I just want to reiterate that now because there's a lot of people who probably missed the beginning of the stream. I do want to just readdress that there are no plans for that.
Yeah, I'm glad they came out and addressed this right at the start. There was basically
on X
a survey that went out to some players, and I don't know if it was like under NDA or what, if it was like leaked or if it was just like only a select few players got it. But it was basically asking like, oh, would you pay extra with the next expansion for stash tab? Did you pay extra for like access to a new like unique aspect early on or something, or legendary aspect early on? And it's like those questions were immediately like, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. But yeah, they addressed it right away and said, no, we're not actually doing any of that. Nothing planned. So that's good.
Palettes for transmogs. Also, pink is a color. Make sure people are aware that pink is a color and they would like pink.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, we don't get enough feedback on this, I think. I think that there's a lot of cool ways to customize your pigments in the wardrobe, and that there are a lot more things we could do there, both in terms of color palettes and other things that you could potentially color too.
Yeah, the transmog customizations are a little weak.
Work some skills or abilities. Like the Necromancer could really use some movement speed or skill abilities to help out with some of their movement issues that they're having right now.
Yeah, I think Abjax has been on stream before. We've talked about the Necromancer specifically not having a lot of extra movement speed ability or agility style abilities like that. There is room for making these sorts of adjustments over time. there's not an immediate plan in terms of like, in season 3 we're going to do X. Like we don't have that, but we are trying to make sure that as we continue to release new seasons, make more unique items, make more legendary powers, that we're thinking about like the ways that players can use them to kind of augment and help parts of their class. Like we hear, very frequently, like, Sork has a really tough time dropping vulnerable on creatures, so everybody runs Frost Nova. Like we understand. There's things we have plans for, but like addressing these kinds of concerns that players have across the board over the course of time. But we're also always looking for opportunities within itemization to also, buffet these classes and give them some things, these extra support they need.
Yeah.
I'm going to take one last question here before we kind of close it out. This is BG Fan Germany. Will we ever be able to play the campaign on a higher difficulty?
Yeah, a couple people have asked for this. I think this is an interesting idea. The campaign is something that sort of each time you play narrative content like this, you kind of get diminishing returns on how exciting it is, because some of it is based on surprise and emotional resonance, right? And some of it is like, another reason to ask this question actually could be, hey, I want to fight Andariel more times, right? And so one of the things that was cool to see with Season 2 is bringing like Duriel back, previously only part of the campaign, right? It'd be cool to do more stuff like that. But it also could be cool to play the campaign again on higher difficulties. Like, we want to have more ways for players to play the game, yeah.
And I will call this out. Davey B mentions Diablo ebooks with Joe Pipora. Reading when?
Yeah.
Joe?
Let me,
narrator Joe Pipora.
I'll work with my agent and we'll figure out when I can start doing some voice work on the side.
There we go. Thanks, Davey.
You know
B.
what? I appreciate that people like to hear the sound of my voice as much as I like the sound of my voice. So that's great.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, I know, Mr. Joe Shelley, you would like to say a few words to the Diablo community as we wrap up our final stream here for 2023 for Diablo 4. Would you have any parting words?
Yeah, I do. Let me get my hat.
Oh.
Got this hat specifically for this.
It's been a long year.
There we go.
There it is. All right. Now I feel more in the holiday spirit.
The fact that you own this hat is just very interesting to me.
But yeah, like we said at the beginning, it's been a pretty exciting year, right? Like, we went from testing the game, doing beta tests, doing open beta, I remember getting my Shava horn and wearing it on my mount everywhere. I still wear it when I show up to World Boss. So
I still wear
everyone
mine.
can know.
You gotta brag. You gotta be like, as part of that group, that exclusive group.
Getting my wolf pup from participating in the beta. All the changes we were able to make.
I didn't play the beta at all.
I was testing in the beta. Playing through the.
Didn't really think I was going to play this game,
right?
honestly.
Getting to really have Mephisto as a huge, complex character for the first time in a Diablo game. Finding out what happens with Lilith, and getting to meet all the characters along the way. Right, bringing the fish back to that town in Skazglen.
The major beats.
Hey, this
Exactly.
Look, there's one quest designer who's like, I made those.
It's a fun quest.
No, but it was really the campaign in Diablo 4. I think we're really proud of the work that we did there. It was really cool for players to experience that and share in it, and for people who pick up the game now to check it out. Of course, we launched Season 1, and we got tons of feedback on Season 1. I think we learned a lot from that.
We did.
It was a real learning experience for us.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you who've been with us for a while, I'm sure, had an opportunity to give us a lot of that feedback. But one of the things that I want to point out here is that it's incredibly valuable to us to have players who are passionate about the game, because that's how we get the opportunity to make changes to it, right? Like, when you have a game that no one cares about, you just don't get any feedback about how it can be better. And one of the reasons we've been able to do all the things we've been able to do with changes in Season 2 and all the stuff we've been talking about here today and things that are upcoming for the game is because of all of your feedback. So please continue to give us feedback about all the things that you don't like in the game and all the things you like in the game. We love to hear it, really.
Can I say one thing? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you can.
So it's funny.
Where's
Whenever
your hat?
I don't have a hat. I'm so sorry. This is Joe signed up. One thing, like I do get asked this quite a bit. Like, you know, how do you deal with all of this feedback? Sometimes it's like really, really direct. And the way that I sort of think about it is like whenever someone sends me a message about Diablo 4, or we're reading a community post, or you know, watching a video, whatever it is that we're doing, you know, at any given time. Even when people are like angry or disappointed, like everybody ultimately, I think there's one kind of like truism here, and that everybody wants Diablo 4 to be good.
Yeah.
They went and played the game hoping for a specific kind of experience, and they want that. You know, so even when people are like pretty, pointed in the ways they're talking about things they feel, it's because they're passionate about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of undergirding your point.
Yeah, yeah. I think I can't say it enough. Blood Harvest, right? Getting to do Blood Harvest in season 2, getting six to 8 people together, overloading the zone the zone cap so you can bring 150 lures together,
Sure.
farming that, getting so many legendaries that you have to stash them in your stash tab and then run portal back so everybody doesn't leave you behind. Getting Farm Durio, right? Linking your mats to make sure that you don't have that one person who shows up for the first couple parts of the rotation and then mysteriously vanishes without contributing. Getting to bring holiday events like Midwinter Blight. Like, we're really excited to be able to, we're all going to go away for the holidays. That's why I've got my hat here. And it's cool that when we go away for the holidays, we're doing it with a whole bunch of awesome content, new content for folks to play in Diablo 4. And it was cool to see some of the Steam getting nominated for a couple of awards in a couple of places, some player choice awards. I think players can still vote for that. So we would love it if you're having fun, if you nominated us for that. And I think this is our first year of this. It's been a long year and an exciting year, and we're really excited for next year and for the future and for season 3 and all the stuff we're bringing there, and itemization stuff coming, and the expansion that we announced at
Vessel of
BlizzCon.
Hatred, yeah.
We've got so much stuff to bring to Diablo 4, and so we hope you'll join us for that.
Yeah, so thank you guys again. Thanks to the Diablo community, of course, tuning in through all these campfire chats, all our developer update live streams, and we have a lot more planned for next year. Our next stream is actually going to be live from Albany, New York. Yeah, we're going to Albany. We actually we have of course locations with multiple teams here working on Diablo 4, and we have a studio up in Albany that will be ready for season 3 for a reveal. So we'll have a developer update live stream then.
Cool.
And we're looking forward to going live from there and checking out season 3 and revealing more information about it next time you guys see us on stream. Before we do head off, of course, we want to remind people about some other Diablo activities that are also going on during the holiday season. And we have, like, D2R, we are bringing back the 22 Nights of Terror that was introduced last year, so players will be able to actually experience that. D3, Season 30 PTR, notes go live tomorrow for that. So people will be able to see some of the balance changes that are coming in Season 30 for Diablo 3, and we'll have information about when that PTR is actually going to start. And of course, Dark Phoenix Tristram, which is a very popular event that happens every single year, will be happening for D3 again, so players can actually partake in that. And for Diablo Immortal, we have a huge update. It's actually probably our largest update since the Blood Knight, which is the Splinter Souls update, which will be coming on December 14th. So lots of Diablo activities throughout the holiday. Again, thank you to the whole entire Diablo community on behalf of the Diablo dev teams here. We're looking forward to our holiday break, and we're hoping you guys enjoy your holiday break with Diablo. So thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Cool. All right. That was a lot of good info. A lot of good changes on the way. The Helltide change, especially. Avatar Zero looks fun. Yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with everything that was announced today. Let's think. I guess itemization. Wish that was happening sooner. Itemization changes, but you know. Who is this? Huh. Okay. All right, so let's go to the Path of Exile stream now. Got some beats going here. Looks like we still got 25 minutes before this starts, though. All right, so we'll tap back into this in a little bit. I'm gonna mute the browser audio here. Um, I want to move to the, whoops, I want to move this one to the bottom, I think. Okay. Hell yeah. I finished up a cup of coffee during that stream. My subscription, though, is running late. I think they didn't drop it off. I think USPS didn't drop it off because our mailbox wasn't shoveled out. Even though they drop it off at the front step most of the time anyway. And so it's just like, yeah, this happens to me like every couple weeks where the local USPS is just like, yeah, we don't want to deliver your shit, sorry. So that's a fucking bummer. I gotta lower the volume on this a bit. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I wish I could make an espresso drink, but I can't. All right, so I don't know, maybe we'll, what are we gonna do for 25 minutes? I don't know. Oh, hell yeah. Congrats, man. That's awesome. I got there really fast. Shit. Yeah, setup time. All right, yeah, let me know if you got any questions. The setup's pretty quick. It's, it's like it's all put together basically. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, are there any things that you do when you first get it? I don't think so. I think you're basically all set to go. But yeah, that's fucking sweet. Congrats, man. Hmm. All right, so what are we gonna do for the next 25 minutes? 22 minutes and 50 something seconds. Yeah, that's a good idea. The manual's a pretty quick read. It has like I think like a quick start manual. Yeah, it's definitely worth reading through the whole thing before you use it though, for sure. Yeah, a lot of good info in there. But yeah, it's pretty simple to use overall. I don't know, I guess you probably want to wash out the portafilter with like the little baskets and the actual thing with the handle on it. Yeah, probably wash that out, it'll dry out. You know, wash out the carafe. I don't think you need to wash the drip tray. Maybe give the water reservoir a rinse. But yeah, the manual really covers like all the important stuff that you'll want to do there. Hmm. What are these guys in chat talking about? What's Garf? D4 bad. Garf 7 out of 50. Garf 232 out of 1,000. Oh, interesting. Is it like a basket or is it just like a flat like disc screen? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you'll need it, honestly. Um, because like the bottom of the baskets are like are basically a screen already. So I'm not exactly sure how that would work. Maybe it would help for just like sizing out, like if it fits in the basket or something. But yeah, I'm not really sure. Might be really helpful. No idea. I just haven't tried one myself. Yeah, I mean, it might be really helpful. Like, I just don't know like how it would. I just don't know how it would work exactly because I don't have one. Um. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna stare at this screen for the next 20 minutes. Oh, it goes like okay, I see. So it goes above the grounds. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like yeah, so you basically level off the grounds and then you put the screen on top of it so that it distributes the water evenly. Yeah, that actually does sound pretty nice. Hmm. Well, I guess I'll update the stream info to POE. Update there. We'll up. Oh wait, not yet. Not yet. That's not what we wanted to do. Hey, no, no, no. Okay. Okay. I think we'll throw this back on full stream so you guys don't have to watch chat, because chat sucks. There we go. Okay, okay. All right, so now we wait. Well, I guess I can turn the audio back on here. Here we go. All right, well, I'm gonna grab some chips and dip, I think. I'm getting hungry. Be right back. Oh, hey, puppy dog. What you doing? Yeah, you're a sweet baby. You're a sweet, sweet. Yes, Luke. Okay, we're back. We got our chips and dips. We are good for this PoE stream when it starts in about 13 minutes. Oh, Lou, how you doing, Lou? Lou's a good cat. He thinks it's dinner time, but it's not his dinner time for like another hour and 15 minutes. So I think the PoE stream will probably be over before he has dinner. Poor guy. It's pretty crazy tunes they got here. I like this Path of Exile music. Just chilling. Almost Path of Exile time. Hang in there, folks. Motherfucker. Well, chat, we had our first spill of the afternoon. All good. Okay, that's why we brought a napkin with us. Okay. Gonna get some more chips. Beery. Okay, we're back with more chips. Nice. Looks like we're gonna be live here in about 6 minutes. Looking forward to seeing the Path of Exile Affliction season reveal. Excuse me. Hey, welcome back, Eva. So yeah, we're just watching the Path of Exile and the new season stream is going to be happening, and as you can see in a minute 55. So yeah, I think I'll be playing that game when the new season starts in a couple weeks. So I'm interested to see what kind of content they're going to be revealing. Hey, look, I don't mean to be rude, but, like, I'm not sure what you want my Discord handle for. I'm not trying to buy any artwork, and, like I mentioned earlier, I get a lot of you guys in here trying to sell me artwork, so if that's what you're trying to do, I'm not the guy, sorry. If there's some other reason you want the Discord handle, let me know. But like I said, I wouldn't give it out till the end of the stream anyway, and I'm still, you know, got another 90 minutes of streaming for today planned. Possibly even more if I play some Lethal Company later, so... if there's some legitimate reason you wanted my Discord handle, let me know, and if not, then I think you should find someone else to sell your artwork to. Sorry. Yeah, again, I don't mean to be rude. I'm just not interested in buying artwork. Sorry.
Path of Exile live stream. We have a packed show today with announcements for Path of Exile 2.
Anyway, here we go. Yeah, we're live.
Path of Exile Affliction.
And yeah, we can definitely play some Lethal Company later.
December 13th on console.
I got WoW Raid at 10 p.m.
Are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Huntsman wings.
Wait. We gotta. How do we do the Twitch drops? How do we do the Twitch drops?
Walk you through our latest announcements. Mark will then take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Affliction Challenge League, which launches in 1 week.
Okay.
He'll cover the league mechanics, its rewards, some new content we're adding to the core Path of Exile experience, and some large meta.
Okay, doing this in a new window, so y'all can't see my my. Oh God, no! We don't want two of these. Okay.
Will ask us questions from Twitch chat. After the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes.
I'd like to hand over to Jonathan Rogers, Game Director of Path of Exile 2.
Hey guys, it's been a few months since we introduced you to the Druid in Path of Exile 2, but one of the things that we're really focusing on now is how varied each of the classes feels to play. The Monk darts around quickly from enemy to enemy, building and unleashing combos. If he doesn't stay in combat, he loses momentum and has to build it up again. The Warrior, on the other hand, is like a slow but unstoppable freight train.
Look at the chat just fucking going crazy. Log in. Yeah, I'm trying. I know. They're not talking to me, but oh wow, look at all the D4 streamers, all the big D4 streamers are on Path of Exile now too. I'm part of the club, guys. Haha.
The Huntress seamlessly moves from melee to ranged combat and back. The true damage potential of the Huntress is only unlocked when you learn to combine ranged and melee abilities together.
So wait, is this a Path of Exile 2 class? Is that what they said? It's Path of Exile 2 or Path of Exile? It looks like Path of Exile 1. I don't know, they probably look the same.
The sorceress is a pure caster who much prefers to stay at range.
Okay, so am I getting drops?
If she finds herself surrounded by enemies, she would rather use an ability to escape than to take them on directly. The druid is also a spellcaster, but unlike the sorceress, he uses his spells as a means to support his melee abilities.
Yeah, I mean they all go after the same content basically, so you know it's no surprise. Let me full screen this again. There we go.
Each of these classes feels extremely different to play, but we want to go even further. It's time to check out the mercenary.
There's not a job out there I won't take, so long as the pay's good.
Settings, connections, Steam. So hang on.
I'll take them all down, one bolt at a time.
When thinking about each new class, we really try to think about how we can make combat feel different from all the others. For the mercenary, that difference is the crossbow. A crossbow is fundamentally different than a regular bow because it fires instantly instead of needing to be drawn back. This means that you need immediate feedback. Clicking the fire button should make the character shoot instantly, just like in a shooter. As soon as we experienced that, we realized that there are a lot of design lessons to learn from shooters, and so we fully embraced them. In Path of Exile 2, we have crossbows that work like sniper rifles, shotguns, and assault rifles. But in order to really get shooter-like gameplay, we wanted to go further. In Path of Exile 2, we now support WASD movement. You can now walk around in any direction independent of aiming. In fact, if this is your preferred method of gameplay, you can use it on any class, regardless of what weapon type you're using. You can change between click to move or WASD at any time. You can only hold 2 crossbows at a time, but Path of Exile 2 is all about interesting combinations of abilities, and this is where ammo skills come in.
There we go, okay.
This is a burst shot
now we're
crossbow,
connecting to Twitch.
and right now I have armor-piercing ammo
Cool,
equipped, which makes it very effective when facing a group of enemies, since it pierces right through them.
Bloody horrors!
There we go. Okay, so now I should be getting Twitch
For a bigger
drops.
single target,
Cool.
it might be a good idea to switch to incendiary. The more projectiles hit the target, the stronger the ignite, so you'll want to get up nice, close and personal with this one. If you have a bunch of targets running at you, you might want to slow them down. In this case, you could switch to permafrost burst shot. Shooting a bunch of smaller enemies at range will chill them, and potentially even freeze them in place. Once you have some frozen enemies though, you can switch back to armor piercing. Shooting a frozen enemy with armor piercing burst shot will explode the ice, doing a huge amount of damage to all nearby enemies. Another feature crossbows have is attachments. This is a grenade launcher. As you can see, when I equip it, it appears on the underside of the crossbow. These attachments are just like skill gems, so you effectively get extra skill slots, and you can augment these with support gems, just like regular skills. These grenades take a while to explode, so it's a good idea to pair them with some kind of crowd control, like permafrost burst shot. We have other grenades too though. This attachment is a flash grenade. It does barely any damage, but it does a huge amount of stun. It can be a great opener before you run into combat.
Surprise!
Now, here's another attachment, an oil grenade. Firing one of these grenades coats the ground and nearby enemies in oil. Oil slows enemies down, so it's another useful crowd control mechanic. Now, another thing that oil can do is be set on fire. Any burning enemy or explosion will ignite the oil, causing extra burning damage. One of the problems with burst shot crossbows is that each pellet doesn't do much damage individually. This means that if enemies have armor, then it will be very effective preventing that damage. But thankfully, you can equip an additional crossbow in your second weapon set to deal with the weaknesses of your primary weapon. This is a rapid shot crossbow. Rapid shot is great for closing on enemies because you can shoot while running. In Path of Exile 2, we now have the ability to allow you to use some skills while moving. Being able to create skills like this opens up a lot of new design space and allows us to really increase the pace of combat.
That's interesting. He's like backpedaling and shooting, but like, you know, like moving backwards and shooting in a different direction. It's like normally in an ARPG you can only move in one direction and shoot in that same direction, or you know, fire projectiles in the direction you're moving. So I wonder how that works.
Being able to run while shooting with rapid shot is also great for when you want to perform a fighting retreat.
Reload!
Using permafrost ammo with rapid shot is also useful if you need to retreat. When you shoot the ground, it creates ice crystals. If you draw monsters back over these crystals, they explode, chilling the monsters. It's great if you want to set up a safe zone before pulling the next pack. Slowing enemies down can come in handy if you want to use the incendiary version of rapid shot. Using this skill requires that you charge up a little bit before it fires, but as it continues to heat up, it will do more and more damage. It has a really large clip size, so you can just keep firing and firing with it. But the other really useful feature is that when the crossbow is heated up, it adds extra fire damage to any grenade that you launch. Now I've been using explosive grenades here, but it will work equally as well with flash or oil grenades too. If you use it with oil grenades, the oil will catch fire immediately. Another crossbow type that you can find is power shot. This one works just like a classic sniper rifle. Use it with armor-piercing ammo and it will penetrate armor on targets. So it's a good idea to use when something's really tough.
Back down or die!
Or you. You can hang out too. You're a nice dog.
Now this skill has another interesting interaction with armor break. If an enemy has its armor broken, then your power shot hits a weak spot. And
There's some good chips and dips. Damn.
Damage, with a bunch of extra stun for good measure. Now, the incendiary version of power shot is more like a rocket launcher. It does a big explosive blast at a distance.
You're a sweet dog. Very nice doggy.
One of the really useful features of this version is that you can explode any grenades that happen to be on the ground. This combo also works really well with incendiary rapid shot. I'm going to charge up the heat on my crossbow, shoot out a bunch of grenades, and then start the fireworks with a power shot. The ice version of power shot creates frost walls at a distance. This is great for crowd controlling monsters in tight passages. The wall segments have other uses too. If they get destroyed by monsters, then they will explode, doing a small amount of damage.
Fly
Oh, excuse me. No, ma'am. Yeah, it's a nice looking espresso machine you got there, man.
Now, remember that burst shot combo with frozen enemies we did earlier? That works with ice walls too. Let's put burst shots.
Yeah, that's exactly why I've stopped checking the stream while streaming, because like I have to go out of my way to like make sure that the output from that application is muted and then check it so that it's, you know, it's like monitor only basically instead of monitor and output. It's been a pain in the ass. But yeah, I guess when setting up a new thing, I should have realized.
All right, it's time to face the boss for this area. Let's see how we fare against her with all the skills I've shown you so far.
Not letting you anywhere near him.
Stay still, the mother!
No.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I would definitely read through the whole thing. It's not like too cumbersome from what I remember. Assuming the manual hasn't changed at all. But yeah, it's definitely worth reading the whole thing before you dive in. It's I remember I thought the manual was enormous, and then I realized it's like in 20 languages, so it's like you're only reading like 5% of it. But yeah, it's got a lot of good info, just like about how to you know, assess whether the grind size is right and how to use the tamping tool to apply the right amount of pressure and use like the leveling tool correctly. You always turn it clockwise, for example, which I wouldn't have realized if I hadn't read the thing, and stuff like that. Yeah, there aren't really that many moving parts. It's like, you know, the wand, the steaming wand basically just moves up and down. The portafilter, like, you know, it's pretty clearly indicated where you put it in and twist it in like one direction to lock it, and then just twist it back to the starting position to unlock it. Yeah, I don't push too hard with the tamper. I basically, oh wow, that dude's almost dead. Damn. Yeah, I basically just, I go until like I feel resistance basically, and it's sort of hard to, you know, like I'm not like putting my weight on it. I just like, you know, I just kind of like push it down with my thumbs basically, and I find that tends to work. But that can also change with, you know, the grind size and like the sort of like the moisture content of the beans. I want to say like the oiliness of the beans, I guess, of the grounds rather, because like some of them will like compress more easily than others. And like, well, like basically what you don't want to do is you don't want to exert too much pressure, because then you'll get channeling. Like you won't penetrate the grounds, and you'll just like get areas that don't extract, and it'll just like run through the less compressed areas. Like all the water will just run through there and not get an even extraction. So you don't want to overdo it, but at the same time you don't want to underdo it, because you don't want the water to just like blast through the grounds and not extract anything.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, you definitely don't need to like put your weight on it, but you know, like, yeah, again, like I just, you know, like I just like press down with my thumbs. Like I basically, you know, I like go in with the tamper at first and like spin it as I like I get the grounds in there, you know, tap it to level them out a bit. Use the tool to finally level it out and get the right amount in, and then I use the tamper to push it a tiny bit, like twisting down. And then I do that until there's a tiny bit of resistance, and then I just go around with my thumbs and like make sure that the tamper is actually like level and not, you know, like off at an angle or something. So that's basically how I set up the basket, and like I just do 18 grams of grounds every single time. Yeah, I do 18 grams like every single time, and depending on the roast and the grind size, I guess. Although I usually keep the grind size pretty consistent, like a 0.5 or a 0.6 on the Kinu. You may end up taking more or less off with the leveling tool. Typically, like, if I go under 18 grams, it's not enough. Although, like, if the leveling tool doesn't take any off, but it still is, like, 18 grams, I don't add any more to it. And yeah, that's exactly what the leveler is for. The leveler is just the leveler. Yeah, it's basically just to make sure that the puck is like the right volume, because you know, like again, depending on the grind size and depending on the actual roast and like you know the quality of the grounds, 18 grams may or may not be the right amount. Like it's like on average, 18 grams is going to be the perfect amount, but for some roasts, you're going to you're basically gonna. For some roasts, 18 grams is going to be a little too much, and for some it's going to be like just right, is what I find.
Which beckon you to enter overgrown passageways that lead to the Viridian Wildwood.
Alright, so here we go, Season of Affliction.
Forest with a foreboding darkness. You'll need to uncover the forest mysteries to put a stop to the source of the affliction. As you approach the darkness, the wisps burn away its affliction. Make sure you tread carefully, because they only have a limited amount of power. But be warned, the darkness is full of cursed monsters that emerge to kill you. As you explore, you might see other types of wisps trapped inside the darkness. The Wildwood is trying to guide you towards clues about its affliction. Follow the trails of wisps by collecting them, and you may uncover many different secrets. New characters to find, shrines, boss battles, and all kinds of new encounters are lurking in the forest just waiting for you to discover them. There are many rewards to earn for those brave enough to seek them. When the sacred wisps run out of energy, they will return you back to where you came from. Any other types of wisps you have collected will return with you to Rayclast. These wisps, having been saved from the affliction, disperse into the environment and inhabit randomly chosen monsters in the area, increasing their power and also their rewards. The different types of wisps have different effects on monsters, and sometimes more than one type will inhabit a single monster, making the fight even harder and even more rewarding. If this happens to a boss, you could be in for a tough fight, but if you can overcome it, your efforts will not be in vain. Primal wisps grant an item rarity bonus to inhabited monsters. Wild wisps grant an item quantity bonus, and vivid wisps cause them to drop currency items. If a monster gets all three types, they'll drop more items of a higher rarity and a lot of currency. While exploring the Wildwood, you might find some of the last few Asmeri wanderers who have managed to survive in the forest since it was cursed.
So I wasn't paying a ton of attention. It sounds like the Wildwood is basically like the big season mechanic for this new Path of Exile season that's coming out.
The source of the affliction, the King in the Mists. Choose which of the Asmeri that you will complete quests for to unlock one of 3 new Ascendancy classes, which you can have in addition to your regular Ascendancy class.
I don't know what Ascendancy classes are.
As you complete more quests for the Asmeri you are
I don't really know anything about this game. I really haven't played in like 10 years, but I'm hyped to get back into it.
A powerful class that takes advantage of wilderness knowledge. A Warden of the Magi
Skill tree is totally overwhelming. Oh hey, there goes Lou in the background over there.
You can equip
oh, and Kitty Winkin's up on the Kitty Winkin is right there.
You can only have one enabled at a time.
Hey, Kitty Winkin.
The effects are quite conditional, so you may want to have more than one equipped and swap between them during combat. For example, equip the Ironwood Tincture to gain the benefit of always stunning enemies on full life.
Lou, you want to hang out?
Lou's here. Alright, let's see if I can get Lou on stream.
Come here, Lou.
This one in particular adds
nah, Lou doesn't want to be on stream.
Full life and steals frenzy charges on hit, which makes it great as an initiator. When you are fighting rare monsters or finishing off tough bosses, you will want to swap to the Oak Branch Tincture, which grants Culling Strike, increased damage against enemies on low life, and has a chance to steal a mod from rare enemies.
You see this guy right up here?
You can buy more tinctures from the Warden of Eves
right
using Primal Wisps when you
over
find her
there.
in the forest, so keep an eye out for her.
He's a good cat.
As a Warden of the Magi gains more Ascendancy points, they gain access to more skills that let them further specialize in tinctures. For example, Nature's Concoction allows you to invest in having your tinctures enhance your flasks.
He does not want to be on
makes
stream.
It important to think about which slots your tinctures are placed in, and what flasks.
Yeah, Lou's really shy. Even my parents haven't really met Lou, and like they come to visit us like every 6 weeks, and like yeah, they've still never really met Lou.
To choose, even if you don't want to engage
We only see Lou in pictures basically.
Another new ability to unlock is Barkskin. It's a reservation skill that causes bark to grow all over your body, increasing armor. As you take damage, the bark falls off, increasing your evasion.
Come here, Lou.
Over time, the bark will grow back, removing the evasion bonus but increasing your armor again. The Breaker of Oaths can teach you to become a Warlock of the Mists, an Ascendancy class specializing in the darker arts.
Nah, Lou says, no, I'm not getting on stream. Nobody wants to be on stream. They think it's dinner time.
One powerful ability you can choose is Blood Hunt, which grants an active skill called Ravenous. This skill lets you see what type a monster is under its life bar, whether it is a demon, beast, undead, construct, or humanoid. Consuming a corpse with this skill gives a buff to damage against that type of monster, and reduces damage taken by it. You can only have
Lose
one
Black
type
Cat.
active at a time, so it's a good idea to choose wisely for the
Pure
area
black.
that you are in.
Darkest Night.
Some bosses, like the
Very
Maven,
evil.
are eldritch in nature and don't conform to the regular corpses that you have access to. But don't worry. The Breaker of Oaths has a shop where you can trade wild wisps for corpses that you can place on the ground wherever you are. Buy an eldritch corpse and you will be able to get the bonus while fighting eldritch entities like the Maven.
Here, Winkin.
You may notice that most of the corpses he
sweet
sells are
orange
not
baby.
monsters you normally encounter.
Here.
You might want to try turning some of these corpses into specters, to take advantage of some of the unique abilities that these monsters have.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with any kind of cat, really. I like them all.
The Warlock
Cats are
of the
definitely my
Mists gets
favorite.
access to many other abilities. For example, there is a trio of curses that you can pick from. One of these curses targets your minions, giving them life degen and making them explode for massive damage when they are near death. One of them prevents enemies from dealing damage for the latter portion of its duration, which is quite powerful against bosses. This curse creates the interesting build decision of whether or not you should increase curse duration or reduce it. The final curse is a mark that causes enemy phantasms to be spawned when you hit the marked enemy. These phantasms aren't on your side, so they work well with on-hit and on-kill trigger effects, for example. The Primal Huntress can teach you to become a Wildwood Primalist. Unlike the other new ascendancies, the Primal Huntress lets you customize your tree. You do this with charms that you can buy from the Primal Huntress for Vivid Wisps. Charms have randomly generated mods, which give stats from regular Ascendancy classes, allowing you to create your own hybrid Ascendancy class.
Dude, this game is just too complicated for me.
Charms are
Like, I think I'm gonna check it out anyway, but like, holy fuck, I can't follow any of this. I have no idea what we're talking about here.
The melee hits have a chance to fortify stat from the champion, and the ability to stop your movement speed going below base from the Juggernaut. This interline Corvine charm lets you get the stat that makes your consecrated ground effects linger from the Inquisitor, and the effect that makes cursed enemies explode from the Occultist. Some of the combination of mods that you might find for sale on charms can be extremely powerful, so keep a lookout for the Primal Huntress's shop even if you are not playing as a Primalist. As a Primalist, you also get access to a few
Yeah,
other
I think
interesting
PoE
abilities.
players love this shit, dude. Like,
Use war cries next to corpses. And
they're
they
real
have charges
spreadsheet
off them
gamers, you know?
It opens nearby chests too. The Primalist also gets access to a small extra backpack, just in case you find yourself needing to cart more items to town during your map runs. If you are unhappy with the class you picked, or you just happen to find a really great item for another one of the classes, you are able to change which class you are using next time you find one of the Asmeri Wanderers. Just remember that you will have to do their quests in order to gain the Ascendancy points for that class. These quests will lead you towards the ultimate goal of the Asmeri, finding the King in the Mists, defeating him, and cleansing the forest of its affliction once and for all. There are new uniques to find, rewards to claim, and new Ascendancy classes to master in the Affliction League. Now that we've covered what's in the League, let's talk about some of the changes you can expect to the core game in 3.23. For a start,
Yeah, I mean, that could be. Like, I definitely can't follow any of it, but, like,
We're
I
talking
also
about
haven't
an
played
Exile
PoE in
card
10
that was
years,
the number one
so
feature that people requested.
I'm sure the people who play, like, every season have
Playing
no
through
problem
in-game
following it. I don't know how many people that is, but yeah, people like me who are just tuning in, like, planning to get back into it for the next season are probably just as confused as I am, I would imagine.
If you defeat the trial, he offers to go double or nothing with you. Do you take the risk and go for an even better reward? Or do you take the winnings you have already earned off the table and go home?
Like, this game just has so much more depth than, like, D4, though. Like, you can just tell just, like, watching the stream, it's got, like, so much more depth than D4. Which isn't, like, to, you know, I'm not trying to bash on D4, I've had a lot of fun with D4, but, like, D4 is just, like, such a straightforward, like, casual-friendly game.
If you are able to make it that far. As part of 323,
And, like, Last Epoch has more complexity than D4, but is still, like, not nearly like this.
Metamorph have now been moved to be rewards for Ultimatum. We have also added a new Val-themed catalyst that works on corrupted items. As is normal for most content that gets added to endgame, we have introduced new Ultimatum passive skills to the Atlas tree. One great example is the Keystone Grueling Gauntlet. It makes Ultimatums last 3 extra rounds, but you cannot choose the modifiers, and it prevents the final Trial Master boss fight from spawning. The level of challenge becomes extreme during the last 3 rounds, and not being able to choose the modifiers makes it even harder. But the rewards are insane, and for those with very high-end characters, it might be a bet worth making. There are lots of other Atlas passive skills you can pick from for Ultimatum, so choose wisely. Now, it's time to talk about one of the largest metagame changes we've ever made. There were 3 systems in Path of Exile that were all trying to subtly modify the behavior of skills. These were alternate quality gems,
so we're gonna try something real quick.
And unique threshold jewels. We've combined all of these together to create a new system called Transfigured Gems that allows us to fully achieve the goal of these 3 systems and then some. Transfigured Gems are alternative versions of existing skill gems that have different functionality and balance from their regular versions. We have added a huge number of these with interesting variations that drastically change how existing skills play. For example, Frostbomb of Instability. It changes it from a cooldown skill that you can cast occasionally for a large explosion into a skill that you can cast continuously, but
Okay,
deals
am I
less
purple
damage
now?
and doesn't apply
Nah,
cold
that did not
exposure.
work as I expected.
It
Alright, hang
changes
on.
the role of Frostbomb from a utility skill into a main damaging skill. Another example is Detonate Dead of Scavenging.
Okay, there's
You
the
can't
red.
use it on corpses that were created by Desecrate or Unearth, but in exchange it does a whole lot more damage. You won't be able to use it as your main reliable source of damage, but it's a great skill to use as a 4-link utility.
And there's
to get
some blue.
extreme burst damage.
But we're not purple.
Raise Zombie of Falling. Instead of
Okay.
raising a zombie from
Maybe
a
next
corpse,
time.
you summon them from mid-air. They fall to their death, dealing AoE damage where they land. While this sounds like a physical damage version of Firestorm, you should consider that it scales with minion damage and also triggers on-death minion effects. Blight of Contagion. This version of Blight is now spread by Contagion, so you can use it as part of your Essence Drain build. We have a huge number of these. Transfigure Firestorm into Firestorm with Meteors, Transfigure Blade Trap into Blade Trap of Greatswords, Transfigure Barrage into Barrage of Volley Fire, and so on. There is a lot to experiment with, and we look forward to seeing what builds you can come up with. But how do you get Transfigured Gems? The Divine Font at the end of the Eternal Labyrinth has been changed to a gem crafting device that can modify your skill and support gems in a lot of new ways. One of the options you can now choose is to turn a skill gem into one of 3 Transfigured Gems. But that isn't all the Divine Font can do. It has a lot of other gem crafting options.
So yeah, I was just was putting
For
these
example,
things
you can add quality to gems,
in the light
add
panels.
experience to gems, sacrifice a gem for 1 or more treasure keys to open Azara's chests, and you can even exchange support gems.
I was hoping I could do red on red on one side, blue on the other, and it would look purple, but
These
no,
are
it just
some
looked
of
like the
options
old
you'll
school
find the
3D,
Divine
like you
Font is
said.
now capable of. In order to replace the rewards and heist that previously gave alternate quality gems, we have done a rebalance of the rewards of heist as well. Experimented base types have been rebalanced. New replica uniques have been added and old ones changed.
Yeah, that was my first time
and we
trying
have
those
increased
out.
the amount of currency from display cases as well. On top of this, we have gone through and buffed the quality stats on most damage dealing skills. In most cases, they will be significantly more powerful than before, and also more interesting. Overall, this is one of the largest metagame shifts that we've ever done. There are so many crazy new skill combinations to plan around, so we expect to see some really interesting new builds. Next up, I'd like to hand back over to Chris to talk about the new supporter packs.
At this point, we'd usually talk about the League supporter packs. We're doing things a bit differently this year. Rather than releasing League supporter packs today and then our annual core packs 2 weeks later, we've combined it all together into a strong set of core supporter packs that will be released alongside Path of Exile Affliction next week. The series contains 5 packs, each with its full value in points and a collection of exclusive cosmetic microtransactions. The higher packs contain physical merchandise. We'll unveil the full details of each of the packs at release next week, but in the meantime, here's a sneak peek of some of their exclusive cosmetic microtransactions. These packs will be available for purchase when Path of Exile Affliction launches on the 8th of December. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post Path of Exile Affliction's full patch notes. With the release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Affliction's release. Keep an eye on the news. On release weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kyrix Vault Pass. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to exploring the Viridian Wildwood with you next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
G'day, Ziggy D here, folks. Exiles, welcome for a giant jam-packed Q&A after a huge reveal session. We have here today Chris, Jonathan, and Mark. 3 for the price of 1 this time around, not just Chris. Welcome, folks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Excellent, folks. We're going to be moving through things in rough order that we saw things today during the reveal. So starting with Path of Exile 2 and then moving through some of the new Path of Exile 1 features. So get those questions.
That ping from theirs? I think that is from them.
New movement scheme that was revealed with the new mercenary class. So we have the new WASD movement. And does this alternate control scheme work with other classes and builds, or is it mainly intended for like this shooter mercenary style?
So when we put it in, I was totally thinking that it was going to be something that you'd want to use with ranged characters way more. But actually, when I tried out some melee stuff, I was pretty sold on it, actually. It was better than I was expecting. There's still a few tweaks to do to make that perfect internally, but like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I think I'm probably, I think I'm going to be playing that way myself, actually, even though I was a bit of a skeptic at first of WASD for melee. I think it is good, but we want to make sure that everyone understands that you can change from one to the other whenever you want. It's just one of those things that, yeah, like some people may prefer it, some people may not. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. WASD rather feels pretty good to me.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Like,
I guess that answers the question we had before. So it looks like they're adding WASD movement so that you can like point and click in one direction and WASD to move in the other. So that's how they were like strafing and shooting and stuff.
The moment you use it, it's a little bit jarring because W is now not a skill. But once you can get beyond that, it is like very, very fun to play.
It is actually funny going like I went loaded up the POE 1 client again recently, and like I was immediately pressing WASD like, oh shit.
Yeah. Keep doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it looks like that's only in POE 2 though, which I know that's coming out sometime next year, but
ask it then.
I have not been following the news on POE 2 at all, really.
Or is it exclusively a POE?
Mostly just here for the POE new season news, which we heard a lot about.
POE 1, and the reason would be because the number of animations you need to support like arbitrary directional movement like that is really high, and the rigs in POE 1 are so old that it would be really, really difficult to add. So I think it's probably
that's definitely like a different thing, you know, like pretty much every ARPG is, you know, point and click to move.
So it was like okay, I'm not going to say easy, but it was easier to add it in POE 2 than it would have been in POE 1 by far. So yeah, for now I'd say it's going to be POE 2 only.
How have you found hotkey?
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to check this game out and just get too overwhelmed again and probably not really play much of the season, but we'll see how it goes.
So it's definitely a thing. But what personally what I found is that so you've effectively got the left click freed up, you know, to put a skill on. So you've kind of got like you can have like sort of 3 major skills on mouse, and then having other stuff on the keyboard, and it works pretty well for me because the stuff that I put on the keyboard at least tends to be the sort of more rarely used stuff. They're still like commonly used, but still a bit rarer, and so it wasn't too bad. I found it okay. It is a concern for sure. Like I suspect that like there might be a few builds that would be a bit harder to do that way, but you can always use the other control scheme if you want. But it's working really well for what we were doing there.
And how well does this translate to controllers then? You would think it'd be perfect for twin sticks.
It is. So we have also implemented so that the
Yeah,
right
that
stick
was,
you
that was
can use
exactly
any
how I
direction that you're
was
going
when
in
I
the
played
controller,
PoE. Like
and
pretty much every
that
time
does
I've
work
tried it,
well
that's
there.
how it's been.
There's like
Where
a bunch of other controller stuff that we've kind of been fiddling around
I'm
with,
just
trying to make that better.
copying a build
Yeah,
and
the,
just doing exactly
definitely
what it
does help,
says. It's just like,
in that
yeah,
regard as well.
it's too
Plus,
much
it just
for
kind of
me to
makes it
like
move
want to
around.
try
There's actually stuff
customizing.
even with click
I
to
also
move
don't think
you
it's
can
super
use
forgiving
live.
from what
You
I've
can
heard.
utilize the
Like,
fact that we've got
you can essentially
the
brick your character
ability for the
if you
interface
like
that way than
don't
walking.
choose a good
It
build.
actually
Basically, like
makes
if you try to like
there's
make your
some
own build and it
places where you can
sucks,
make
like you're
the
just gonna get
character move somewhat
bricked
more
on
natural
like
as well.
later content.
So
So
it's a little, it's kind of
that was
minor
always a
stuff,
big turn
but,
off, and that's
the
like part of the
animation
reason
does
I
look
would
actually
always
better
just
for
follow a
what we
build
do.
for it.
And what's
Last
skills
Epoch,
that
on the
you
other
use lead, and
hand,
that was mentioned
very
that
easy
some will
to
be kind of
respec
like
and like test
functional
out
in
new
that way.
stuff.
Yeah, so we're still like going through and thinking exactly what we want to do there. But the basic thing is that you definitely want to have, I think, for each build, a few skills that you can use in that way, because it does make combat feel faster when you can kind of be doing stuff on the way to the next monster, this kind of thing. It just kind of improves it in a way that once we tried it, we were just like, wow, that's actually really cool. Yeah, it won't be like everything, or like a lot of the time I think
Yeah,
what we
it
do
sucks when
is
that happens, especially if there's like, you know,
getting
no
the,
option to just like, oh, you know,
we can
reset
shorten the
your
windows.
skill
So we've got
board
this
and
ability
start
where
over,
we can
and
kind
you
of
know,
shorten the windows
you've already
where
invested all
you
this
will
time in the
upgrade
character, and now
onto
it's all gone to
how
waste because you got to start
skills as
over.
well. So like only like right near the contact point do you actually have to stop, and then for other skills we can do them completely while you're moving.
So I don't know. I mean, that was a long time ago when I played, so maybe the game has
skills that you
changed,
might want to
but
spam in
yeah,
some
I've
cases,
heard
things
it's
like
not
that,
super
that can be
forgiving
okay.
still.
So I'm not going to like give you a list or anything, but yeah, we definitely want to have making sure that each build has skills that you can do while moving available, so that you can kind of utilize the time when moving between packs to be.
Skills that incorporate more movement or even play with the lack of
should be
movement,
simple
like
user
planting your feet.
What was
What's
that,
that, sorry?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I think Discord kind of lagged out for a second there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the other thing as well is that is another question people have asked is like how does it work when you are using click to move? And the answer is honestly pretty simple. Like you click where you want to move, and then you move the mouse and use the skill in the other direction, and then your character will just not be interrupted the move. They'll just keep moving while you shoot in the other direction.
Okay, so I guess the WASD is optional
that
then,
does
so
work.
you
Like,
can
it
just
is
still do
technically,
click to
like,
move and move in one direction, fire in the other. So that's interesting. That sounds like it'll be a little clunky or like higher skill at least. I would definitely just check out the WASD personally, but that's just
same
me.
exact motion you do if you're stutter stepping, except that you're able to actually move at the same time while you're doing it, basically.
Yeah, you effectively like queue up a move command and then fire in the opposite direction or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you find that this is what's that?
I was saying it's like lower APM stutter stepping.
Yeah.
Do you find that this is like opening up a lot new design space for you with skills then? Because this is like a new way of thinking that you haven't really had access to in terms of skill design now.
For sure, there's definitely a lot of stuff. Like we haven't even really yet explored all the repercussions on other builds as much as we would like to yet. Like there's a lot of stuff to change here and kind of get and utilize that stuff for. But yeah, as I said, once we tried it, it's just like, yeah, we need to be exploring this all throughout what we're doing and making sure that we can take advantage of it so it feels as natural as possible when you've got like direct character control like that.
What we're finding here is the overarching goal with the new characters in Path of Exile 2 is that each one plays entirely differently. We're releasing 12 games in one, where you can play an entirely different style with each character and feel compelled. Now that you've tried a mercenary, you want to try another one, for example, because you're going to get a different experience. And this means that Jonathan's team is pioneering these new things like the WSD controls, using a class as an example. Like the mercenary is the canonical WSD control one because of the crossbow stuff feeling like a gun, and then the fallout from that, of course, is then it benefits all the other 11 classes and millions of different playstyles, and that kind of falls through afterwards, and we get time to experiment with how it actually works on those classes.
Yeah. At the risk of going like off topic a little bit, I already noticed in previous reveals that like the melee stuff is getting a lot more fluid with a lot more movement and stuff like that. But a lot of that was a kind of pre-scripted but modifiable movement after the fact, where you could like whirl and then change direction a little bit like that. But it seems like now even you might even be able to have things like where your character's able to do a cleave while taking a couple extra steps, just little things like that. So it seems like it's going to change gameplay a lot from Path of Exile 1 to 2.
I think it can, but we do have to be careful. Like, I don't want the feeling of just complete floatiness. Like we don't want, like I wouldn't want it so that every skill you can just do without like while moving arbitrarily. Like it needs to still feel like there's at least some amount of the animation where you're kind of like locked into that little bit. So for something like cleave, for example, what I do is I have it so you can kind of step into it and then you can move really quickly after the slash. But the actual slash itself, you need a bit of that sort of like locked in, just so that you got something going on there. Because otherwise, it'll just feel like you kind of don't really exist. You're just like floating around, kind of not really doing anything. So that's a little bit vague, but effectively, I just want to avoid the kind of feeling where where you don't feel like you're a real character in the world, which you can get if you just allow full unrestricted. Like if you do absolutely everything while moving and there was no slowdowns or anything, then it would feel real floaty, and I don't like that either. So you know, it can be a bit of a little bit of an interesting one. You have to really look at the feel of every single skill and kind of get the timing windows exactly right for everything to be able to make it actually feel really solid and good. Yeah, if we're doing our job right, then every class should have quite a distinct feel as far as all that stuff goes.
Like, I get what you mean. Like, once you have more movement, that's when you can start playing with, like, okay, in what situations do we stop movement? Like, I noticed with the crossbow, for example, the character planted their feet for the shotgun shots, especially, and that made that look and feel a lot more impactful. So that's bad
exactly.
design there.
Exactly.
Perfect. On that note, then let's talk a bit about the crossbows. It seems they've changed quite a bit since the original reveal with the armor-piercing bolts and whatnot.
Yep, they have. Yep, that was that meme. Is no longer applicable, hopefully. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so the split to all of the classes happened after that last the last reveal, and so then we were kind of like, we need to make sure that we're making like I didn't even like there were like the mechanical ideas of like having ammos and stuff like that for the crossbows before, but I don't think we'd quite yet nailed the kind of like how is a crossbow actually going to feel really different to play than a bow. And it wasn't until I sort of made the observation that, hey, you know, like if we're like a crossbow, like if you pull the trigger on a crossbow, it needs to fire instantly. We should be putting the contact point literally at 0 on the animation. So this is a bit of a technical term. Like contact point just means point where the damage happens, et cetera, et cetera. You know, we need to move that right to the start. And if we do that, like what kind of things, you know, would need to change? And we actually found there was like a grab bag. Like as soon as we did that, there's like a grab bag of issues that we off topic, but it's like the amount of engine brokenness that the mercenary brought to the front was so high. Like the amount of things like that we had to fix in order to make the mercenary work in the engine was just ridiculous. Like I found so many bugs. I mean, these are all going to be fixed, by the way, in POE 1 as well, because the engine is shared. But it's like I found out that projectiles like disappear a frame before they arrive at the destination, and they appear 1 frame late after they leave your character as well. And that it turns out all objects when they're created appear 33 milliseconds late from when they actually render. And like there was stuff with trail. I mean, like it was just actually like, because like when you're dealing with something like this, like if you've got like a bullet effectively traveling ultra fast, it has to happen instantly as soon as you click, and like all these things, there was like so many engine things where it's like we're speeding all this shit up, and like the engines just started breaking all over the place. So yeah, there was a lot of technical improvements that had to happen in order to make that stuff work. Not to even mention the whole like WSD and all the animation system stuff, and yeah, like it was pretty crazy. So I'm really glad to remove a lot of jank that existed that we hadn't noticed before, because things weren't fast enough to see the problems. You know, there was a lot of like frame by framing it and like making sure that every single frame is perfect and all sort of stuff going on. And yeah, it was pretty crazy during the development of this stuff.
I love to hear how that pans out in terms of improvements.
Sure.
So on the crossbows, I noticed that they have the new like skill bound to the weapon thing where they fire differently. So you have your shotgun crossbow and you have your semi-automatic crossbow or whatever. Are we mostly going to be modifying those primary skills, or are there going to be other primary separate skills that, or just kind of more ammo types that modify the base skills?
So there's definitely going to be more ammo types. There will be other skills, but what we did to sort of solve, as it were, the crossbow, like having crossbow skills that aren't tied to the primary firing type, was to have the attachments.
You gotta stop. I'm gonna put your phone on
and
if
so
you keep
those
doing that.
basically are effectively skill gems, except that you equip them where you'd equip a quiver instead. But they have
You don't
want
wanna
to
put the phone on
like
again,
that.
do you?
And effectively, whenever we
No,
want to
you
have
don't. You don't like the phone.
like a crossbow skill, as it were, that isn't related to one of those primary firing types, then that'll be where that can go. And there's way more than what we even showed there. Like we just showed like some grenades, but there's all sorts of other quirky types that have been come up with that you can attach to your crossbow. Like I know someone made like a bayonet at one point. I'm not sure how we're going to use that, but I don't know if that one will actually be useful. But we'll see. We've got a model for it. We'll see if we'll experiment with it. But there's those. But I mean, there's also other things, of course. Like there's stuff that we didn't show here. Like there's still the what do you call them? Oh god, the crossbows that pop up when you summon the ballista totems. There's still ballista totems and other things like that, and like various other skills. So there's definitely other skills that we expect this class to use. but we kind of ran out of like time to be able to show like all the different things that you can do, and we'll show more of those later. But yeah, there's going to be other stuff that you can fill your skill slots with for sure as well. So don't worry about that.
So are some bow skills going to become crossbow skills? Is they going to be shared across the two?
There are certainly some concepts that we might. I mean, look, when we're designing the classes, we're kind of like we do look at POE 1 and be like, is there anything here that we want to crib from, to kind of to use? And there might have been a couple of things that we've like sort of used as concepts, but overall, it is supposed to feel like this is distinct. And I'm sure maybe there'll be a time where like this is better suited as a crossbow skill than a bow skill. But in general, I guess like we're looking at designing things like like this is a full new game. Like we're designing skills again. Like there will be cases where we go back and we're like, hey, this POE1 skill is still great. Let's port it over. But in almost all cases, the skills get changed a lot. Like I mean, when you saw the sorceress when we announced all the stuff there, it's like yeah, there were skills from POE1, but like the changes to them were such that like they don't really feel the same at all. So it's they kind of end up quite different.
Yeah, I feel like I remember seeing like a melee skill became a spell or something like that.
Sure,
Some pretty big changes.
Weird stuff can happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So are the crossbows exclusive to the mercenary, or are they something anyone can use?
I mean, just like anything in PoE, everyone can always use everything. I mean, we obviously, when we're showing stuff, we sort of show it as if like, this is a thing restricted to this class, something, but it isn't, of course. Like, you can use it anywhere. And one thing we definitely try to do is make sure that there are keywords that are usable between the classes to make sure, like, even if we don't know exactly how that'll be useful, like that they can lead to things that can be interesting. So, for example, on the crossbow there, we had armor break being used, which is the same mechanic we were using on the warrior. And I mean, look, maybe in theory someone could make a crossbow / mace build. I don't know how that would work, but what I'm saying is like by having the shared keywords across different classes, it just means that if someone wants to come up with something weird, they can do that. So yeah, absolutely, you can use stuff across.
I'm
classes.
definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do armor piercing bolt crossbow, and then always crit. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably pretty broken actually as
Yes,
the balance
it
stands
is.
right now. I bet it's
is.
actually like real
Yes,
broken.
it is right now.
Yeah.
With it seems like Discord died for the stream a little bit there. Sorry, Jonathan, what did you say? Mark, what did you say you were going to do?
Oh, it's using armor piercing bolts to get armor break from a distance, and then using sunder which is a skill we showed on the warrior, because sunder gets always crit and higher crit damage
if the target's
target's armor broken. So when we showed the warrior, you have to use armor break, which is I guess kind of heavy strike-esque, right in the face to break the armor. But now I'll just do it from a distance and then sunder from a distance, and
right. So yeah, there's a potential build there. For sure.
We've got the weapons swapping and the tree swapping and stuff.
Yeah,
I hope we
it
see some
works.
hybrid melee ranged. It's a great
it can happen.
playstyle.
It can happen.
Especially for the mercenary, I feel it'd be a great fit. But moving on a little bit, we've got the oil grenade, and that effectively showed some environmental interactions, lighting a patch of oil on the ground on fire. Is that something you might expand to with other skills, enemy abilities, or even like combat areas? Like, here's an oil barrel, you can light that on fire or something.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely love that stuff, like the environmental stuff. But I mean, even with the other skills we're designing, like, I mean, things like the volcano interaction with the druid, that's another example of that kind of like place a thing in the world and then you can do something with it. I quite like that stuff. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I absolutely want to be doing more of that. I mean, and the more I guess state you can add to get a bit technical about it, to the world where it's like placing a thing like all that stuff allows you to do more setting up for something you're going to do afterwards, which I think is a big part of being able to do combos and things like that. So yeah, like I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff.
We do have monsters integrating with that as well. Like we have, to give a couple examples, we have explosive barrels with lines of gunpowder, and the lines are randomly generated, and then you have monsters with torches that will run up and set them on fire.
Yeah.
And we've got another one as well that throws, it's like more of an alchemist monster, and it throws two types of, I guess, flasks or concoctions. And one creates ground type A and one creates ground type B, and if they mix, they end up creating a new type of ground type and exploding and doing massive AoE damage, like just chemical reactions.
Yeah.
Just coming up with a whole alchemy system for your
Yeah,
environmental interactions.
It's cool. We tried it in Heist. Surprise! I don't know if anyone even in POE1 notices this, but there is oil there that does catch on fire. It just doesn't look anywhere near as good. Just because like where the art is and where the effects is now for POE2 is just allowing things to look incredible.
similarly, we're seeing like more and more powerful control and utility effects. Like for example, in this clip, we saw the shots placing ice walls, and
Mhm.
they were like blocking and taunting enemies. I noticed it seemed.
Mhm.
How do you keep these sorts of effects like feeling powerful and relevant in boss fights without just kind of breaking the fight or trivializing them?
I mean, on some level, like we have to be able to let players use those tools in boss fights because otherwise there's no point in them. Like I really want it to be the kind of game where you can use that kind of more control type stuff. And I mean, like it's funny because a lot of the designers, when we talk to them, we're like, "Hey, we should allow this," and they're like, "Oh my god, it's crazy because like it's going to be way too easy." Like, and then Mark will look at it and he goes, "It's not that broken. It's not that broken." It's like you look at some of the stuff you can do in POE 1, and I'm like, the ability to like freeze people in place with walls is like nothing compared to like the ridiculousness that your character can get to. So yeah, like when you actually think about it, like it's not that broken really. I mean, and we want players to have fun at the end of the day, right? We want them to be able to use those tools, and I quite enjoy it. But in particular, though, with the ice, though, those walls, once a monster gets above a certain size, they no longer get blocked by them, and they run through them. They still get they explode. So Ursia, you might have noticed, like the baby wasn't able to get through the walls, but Ursia can run through them, and then they just get that little detonation. So the skill actually changes a bit. Like against small monsters, they have to like stop and attack. It completely blocks them in, and they can't get through. But against large monsters, the monster rolls right through it, but then they explode and get chilled. So it kind of changes the function a little bit for boss versus the small monsters, and so that's why that particular skill I think is actually fine in that regard. So yeah, there's little tricks like that we can do, and I think I honestly really enjoy the stuff we're doing with monster size, which was never a factor in POE 1 design. Like monster size means that we can say, okay, like bigger, like this happens to large monsters. I mean, it all makes some kind of physical sense on some level. The bigger monsters can have this happen, smaller monsters have that happen, and that can kind of allow you a bit more control in that way as well.
Does this give you, Mark, some interesting tools to play with when designing bosses?
Yeah, I mean, generally, yes. I've had rants about this before. I love the I love the object size. I like things pushing you around, and I like that a small monster can't and a large monster can, and like things like the knockback and just the thing feeling very physical and as it would, I guess, in real life, is quite important to me, and it makes the game feel just way more grounded. Like you're actually in there and it makes sense as opposed to. I mean, that's something about the mercenary as well. I know this is tangential, but I'll just get into it. Like when I don't know if people notice, but when you fire at a monster on the ground, like that area had babies in it, the crossbow aims down and shoots down.
Yes,
Like
that was a change that was also absolutely needed.
Whereas in POE 1 and like if there's a little like the little insects, for example, down there, you'll fire your bow and the arrow will just go this and hit it, and it's like it doesn't feel right. Now you may wonder, okay, well, how can it pierce if it aims down? And the answer is it can't. But
I mean, it does a bit because like you still get
sure, it goes through and then hits the ground, but like it does change the gameplay in an interesting way, but it also makes it feel way more realistic, and you're not just like shooting the air.
Yeah. One thing you didn't see in the demo, but actually like now the collision geometry for everything is actually modeled correctly to the to everything, even the stuff outside the gameplay space. So you can fire a grenade out over the buildings and like it'll hit the roofs and like bounce down on the roofs and like go down to the lower story and that sort of stuff. Like it actually has like all of that physics all working and
There's
everything.
even those problems in POE 1 with like leap slam, where you leap slam off like over a ravine, your character will go down, up, down.
Yeah.
No more of that. No more.
Yeah, so like we've got
Get
lots
rid
of
all of
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like there's a lot of physical stuff. In fact, like and also just things like arrows hitting like empty space and like stuff like that. Like now they all exactly hit the geometry and like there's lots of there's I mean once again it comes back to all the engine stuff we had to fix in order to make the mercenary possible. Like it was just like we were like, okay, we can no longer tolerate all of this like not physical stuff anymore. We have to actually make it right. So yeah, there was a big lot of changes required, and it makes just everything feel a lot more realistic and kind of grounded, which is good.
One of the reasons why the groundedness matters here is because one of the factors that varies from fight to fight is the terrain you're fighting in. And so if you can interact with the shape of that terrain in a different way and it actually has an impact, it will make the fights feel different.
I like how it affects the monsters too, because instead of just shooting at a wall when you're up on an elevation, they'll actually like pathfind backwards to try and get a line of sight to you with their projectile.
Yeah.
Which is
because they take into account height in the pathfinding now, so they actually have to find like a line of sight to you, up a cliff and this kind of thing. There's some pretty interesting things.
Wow, very cool. So for demonstrations and things like demos and stuff, you're obviously going to be showing off as many different abilities and combos and stuff like that as possible, like more than you typically have on an actual character. But I'm curious then, kind of what are your expectations or hopes for PoE 2 in terms of how many skills and combos a well-refined character build is going to be running at endgame?
I mean, I personally believe that you should have probably 2 to 3. 2 is going to be very common. I think 3 will be pretty common as well in terms of like core combos for your character. And then depending on the context, like what's going on with the boss fight or just the monsters, you'll decide to do one or the other. But what I quite like about the way the gameplay is and what we try to strive for is like you've got some plan in mind for what you're doing, but like no plan survives contact with the enemy kind of thing, and like the enemies are doing things that's kind of disrupting that, and then you're like, oh, I should need to use the skill to kind of like deal with that. And so that a lot of the time you can have like I think you saw this on the druid as well. It's like the druid basically had synergy for the entire set of skills that it had. But in reality, when you're playing, it's like you can't kind of get off the full combo all the time. You need to kind of like sometimes you can, and then you get a huge amount of damage. But the rest of the time, you're kind of using individual sub parts of the combo that like because multiple parts of it still work together, and so you can still sort of have like utilizing different parts of it is still useful in different situations. But then you can kind of use everything together in one go in the end and kind of get something really awesome. Like different characters will feel a bit different in this regard, but I really do want like some like interesting combos going on, and it should be very context sensitive, right? Like what the enemies are doing should matter in what you are doing. Like that is, I guess, the sort of key element of that. And in order to achieve that, you're going to want to have like a few different options on your character to take care of different situations.
Before we move on to some Path of Exile 1 and Affliction questions, we have just a couple more chat questions to ask. Do you need to spend all the crossbow ammo to reload, or can you reload manually as well? Is there like a hotkey or something for that?
Yeah, you can reload manually. So effectively, if you use the ammo skill again, it'll reload the thing. So yeah, there is a reload.
Great. Will Path of Exile 2 be cross-platform at all?
Yes, it will be. Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Will boss and monster balancing be done around WASD movement balancing, or will be keeping mouse movement players in mind as well?
I mean, we're always going to make sure that it's okay for both type of players, but I wouldn't say that the balancing has to be hugely different, honestly. Like, especially with the dodge roll and everything, you can get where you need to go with click to move as well. It's just that the immediacy of WASD just sort of feels better, or like I think that I don't think there's necessarily a huge balancing task there, but maybe Mark, you've got a different feeling.
No, it's ultimately the same.
Yeah.
But there's some tiny things like to give a real picky example, it's like when you click to move, you pathfind, right? And with WASD,
it is technically pathfinding a little bit, but
a bit less. And so like you're more likely to run into a where if you were to click around something, your character would path around it. But if there was like a point, your character might run into that and get stuck because you actually have to navigate around yourself.
It does pathfind on WASD, though.
Yes, but I've there's a couple cases like that, but that's not really balance. It's more like we have to. I mean, yeah, you're running into a dead end. It's
I would say though that like for example the bag I don't know what the name of the monster we eventually went with, but the bag ladies in that area, I did find them a bit easier to dodge with WSD because you can like take a step back really easily when you're fighting them when they get up close. The things like that like are a little bit easier, whereas with click to move, like
yo, my coffee is here. Okay,
able to do that.
It's in the mailbox. I'm gonna go grab it.
There are like a few cases there where it's like
I'll be right back.
Like you get a bit more control there, but it's still fine.
Yeah, ultimately, there's not a lot you need to change balance wise.
Right.
Well, pretty much nothing.
So will we be seeing a bit more for from PoE 2 between now and the beta then?
Of course, well, I mean, at the very least, there'll be, the next league live stream and everything. We'll definitely want to have some stuff to show then. But as we get towards the beta, we're going to be showing a heck of a lot more. And I also want to make sure that we get like, I want to do a deep dive like this for every character class, so that we can sort of see like, what to expect. And I think there are also good references for the type of gameplay that a player like in terms of like when you're picking a class, like what class do I want to pick? Being able to see what type of gameplay you can expect is I think a good thing. So I want to have one of those for all the classes if we can. Yeah.
Great, and you have a lot of classes now to deep dive, so that's a lot of content.
We do.
Great. All right, so moving on to Path of Exile 1 and Affliction first. So Affliction looks like you're kind of walking through a carpet of cockroaches with a candle to scare them off. Do you guys ever worry when you design a league mechanic like this that you're going to be just scaring some players off? They're just going to nope out because of that?
No, it is a
Okay.
horror game, and there's a
I'm
lot
back.
of horror in there already. We've had a few examples though, like just to give a small anecdote of, there was, I think it was the last or maybe the current, the mystery box that has the spider portal in it. We actually had people like specifically go, I don't want to buy this mystery box because I have arachnophobia and I don't want to get that spider. Is there a way I can get everything but the spider from it? And the short answer is no. But like, I mean, how does that person kill Weaver or get through?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But no, generally, like the game has a lot of horrific stuff in it, and as you can
Yeah.
even see from what's going on in that mercenary demo, you know, we're not not pulling our punches when it comes to that stuff for sure.
I remember Eric came across a list of things not to include in games because they scare the players. Things like objects that are too sharp and pointy, or trypophobia triggering clusters of small irregular holes. And he's like, "This is very useful."
Yo, we got a banger this time. It's the
Great.
Ethiopia Layu.
Talking about mechanics, the wisp
Notes
allow
of
you to explore
lavender,
wildwood,
blueberry lemonade, and
somewhat of a
black
limited
tea.
Resource, it seems. Is this a timer,
Cannot
or is it
wait
distance
to.
traveled
Oh, look at that.
sometime
The
like that?
thing picked up on its
distance
color
traveled,
adjustment.
but
That's
it's
cool.
distance traveled into
Yeah, cool
the
webcam.
bugs and the cockroaches and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, all right. Our bean showed up.
So if you run back and
We're gonna be drinking
let's
a
say you run up
cappuccino
some way
tonight.
and then you wanna
Very
go back and
nice.
then go a different direction. Like running back where you've been doesn't use the resource. Running anywhere new does.
James Smith Zero.
I think that'll be a popular
What's
decision instead of
good?
being, like, say, a
Why you
half timer.
messaging me, man?
Yeah, for sure.
So how long is a venture into the wildwood typically? Like, how long are you like exiting your map?
Well, even typical is somehow subjective here, but obviously it depends on your character. But I mean, anywhere. I would expect most people to be in there like kind of a minute, upwards of 2 minutes.
All right,
but
time to
so
feed the
that-
pets dinner.
Depends on what
BRB.
you run into though, because if you run into a boss fight, it can it can be a while.
It does depend what you find, but like I mean, you could be in there as short as 30 seconds, or or a lot less if you're just not really caring where you're going. But that is not the right tactic to have at all.
And there isn't time pressure here in any way. You can be in there for a quarter of an hour if you're just incredibly methodical and barely move.
I don't think that anyone would be doing that, but yeah.
You can.
We are catering to slower players who don't like the gotta go fast thing. Like, you can go fast. It's more efficient to go fast, but you don't have to.
I wanted, sorry, I wanted something that was normalized a bit more between faster and slower players. Like you can
Right.
do it at your own pace, as opposed to feeling like ultra stressed. And a faster player can do it as fast as they want, and that's still fine.
Excellent. So you get these wisps, and you free them. They go into your map, and they infect monsters and make them drop more loot. Are they like more likely to choose more powerful enemies like rares and bosses, or is it just fully random?
They are more likely to pick, bosses and rares or higher rarity monsters going down. Yes.
And otherwise there would have been like no chance for multiple wisp types to go into one monster, right? So
Yeah.
we had to make it so that it was relatively likely for that to occur, but it doesn't always happen. It's kind of it's variable.
As a typical Path of Exile player, I immediately thought of abuse cases for this. Can you like kill all the monsters in a map except the boss, and then just go in and come out, and then free the wisp into the boss only, stacking it
Well,
up?
Thankfully, as we're also PoE players, we have also thought of this. We don't think of everything, but at least in that case, no, it is a chance per monster. So if you clear the whole map and then go and do it, the resultant is, it's actually detrimental for you.
Yeah. And the wildwood always appears at the start of the map. So that means that you always like have the chance, like that way you get the most, just to make sure that you get the most what do you call it, equity of drop equity or whatever out of doing it. So like
a little like Delirium where the mirror would spawn.
Exactly, it is exactly like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Wow, you guys have thought of it.
We've done this for a while now.
Some experience.
Yeah.
So some players love mechanics in maps, and others seem to love ones that cause them to take a break from a map. There's definitely some divide there. Interestingly, I noticed that Affliction is a little bit of both. It's a portal, but it juices your map afterwards. How do you folks like to balance the desires of the player base when it comes to designing leagues like this?
Ultimately, we just like to do a bit of all of it. Sometimes it's out of map, sometimes it's in map, sometimes in this case it's a bit of both. Like there isn't really some, elaborate decision that goes into it. It's just kind of like we feel like it's time for one or the other.
I mean, we definitely have discussions of like, oh, you know, we've done a couple of in area ones, let's do an out of area one. Oh, we've done some out of area ones, let's do an in area one. Like, you know, in this case, we were like, it just sort of felt good to have both things. So you know, yeah, it was good. But yeah, like honestly, we try to just have a variety.
It's this kind of concept, at least that I use internally, which is what shape is the combat, and we want to try all the different shapes we can do, and we haven't run out of shapes yet.
This
Oh,
shape
awesome.
technically is whatever shape you want to because you can run. So it's undefined shape.
All right.
I have to always look out for my co-op buddies. How does Affliction work in multiplayer?
So once you die, you can't go back in. Just worth noting. Technically, that's multiplayer or single player, but only the map owner can, or if they're not present, I believe it nominates someone else, but I'll make sure that's the case if not. Can actually reveal fog or the mist, whatever the bugs. And when you collect, so the expectation is the party members kind of follow them around, and
we're back.
The wisps that you collect, it's the same amount, so they're just a shared pool. Like it
Like
doesn't.
any player who collects wisps will go to the primary player.
Yeah.
So like they're all so there's effectively the map owner is the one in charge of the of exploring basically. Yeah.
But anyone can pick them up if you want to spread out a little bit like that. So yeah, it works in multiplayer. Due to the nature of the rewards, just being based on the monsters' drops, they will scale with like party drops like normal. So there's no like it. They just work as standard multiplayer drops would work.
Right.
Great. And we get this new ascendancy system as a reward for this, which seems quite significant, especially seeing some of the specific bonuses there. How challenging is it to actually unlock these Wildwood ascendancies and gain all of their points?
So you can get 8 points per class. You get your first 2 points when you meet the NPCs, which occurs relatively early. I think we have and it is slightly RNG based, and whether or not you find them. But you can increase the chance of finding them by following the trails of wisps. They will lead to them.
So the different colors have different things at the end of the trails, so you can kind of pick which direction you want to go.
And each color associates to an NPC. So I think they can start appearing around Act 2, and then the expectation is by end of Act 5, you've probably found each of them once. And when you meet them, you get your first 2 points, and then they'll give you a quest if you spec into that class to find more wisps or kill some monsters, like real basic quests. All done within the forest, and then you get your 4th point, and then or 3rd and 4th points, and then you have a quest to kill like a mini boss, and then it'll give you your 5th and 6th, and then the final 2 points are from killing the final boss of the league, which is probably relatively difficult. Like that's a level 83 kind of maybe equivalent to say like Lycia from Sanctum, or not quite pinnacle boss, but like just below it kind of thing. So that will be hard. So you could argue the first 6 points, the first 2 points are very easy. First 6 easier than probably say Labyrinth or the normal Ascendancy equivalent, but the last 2 points will be quite a lot harder than the regular Ascendancy 8 last 2 points.
And this is in parallel / addition to your existing Ascendancy class and its progress. You have 2 classes here to clarify.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that last one that was revealed was like a little bit of everything. pretty cool. Those charms. Yep. So the unique specters from the Breaker of Oaths, including bosses like the Hydra, was certainly a surprise. Can you have more than one Hydra Spectre, or like an army of bosses?
You can have up to your Spectre limit of Hydras, but they cannot be desecrated. So once you have it, once you have the item, you buy it from him. You can only Spectre it once. Once it dies, then you have to buy more of them. But yes, it will be hard to find them.
You can trade them.
Yes, you can trade for them. I really wanted this whole I wanted you to be able to find the NPC and then be able to effectively buy something from them that could be worth multiple divines. And I'm like, a Hydra could be worth multiple divines. Like, let's see if we can do that.
Note, you can buy these and trade them even if you aren't that class.
Yes. Yeah, of course, of course.
So there's a reason to look at the shop for all of the NPCs, regardless of whether or not you're that Ascendancy class, because other people can use them.
Talk about the fragility of the Hydra.
Yes. Well, it is worth noting the Hydra's health in particular is relatively low. so you do have to keep it alive. The specters in general they're pretty interesting. There's a lot I've tried to go for where we've gone and tried to give stats that other builds wouldn't use. Like there's one, for example, where one of its properties just says your owner, as in the player, has 5% more attack damage or melee attack damage. I can't remember which of those two. And then if you get all your specters, you can get like 40% more attack damage. But now you're a melee build that's investing in plus specter limit, and there's some interesting weird things you might be doing there. And then of course that means you need minion life, otherwise they're all just going to die. And there's hopefully some kind of weird, interesting builds that come out of this, where you have unorthodox builds using specters that you normally wouldn't.
And you had that interesting one with Fire Fury and.
Oh yeah, there's a kind of, I don't know what they're called, but it's effectively Fire Fury and Hailrake, and they specifically the Fire Fury one says becomes empowered if there is if you also have a Hailrake Spectre, and the Hailrake Spectre says the same thing. So then you want to run two different ones, which again is also kind of abnormal, because normally when you do play a Spectre build, you stack a lot of the same thing. So it's promoting a bit of just different gameplay around that.
So there's something going on between the Fire Fury and the Hailrake. Then they have some backstory together. I guess
They're empowering each other, yeah, for sure.
They are. Fanfic authors take note.
Yeah, here we go. New fanfic in progress. The charms for the Wildwood Primalist, they capture random parts of other ascendancy nodes and allow you to create a new one in kind of like a build your own ascendancy fashion. What sort of limitations are there? Can you just get like any power from any node?
You can't get anything. I can't remember exactly what you can and can't get, but there are some stuff that is like it's binary and ultra powerful, and like that's just too much power to give from a single node like that can have two modifiers on it. So you can't get everything, but you can get most things, and even in some cases where they are binary, we've made non-binary versions of that property where it's like can either be chance-based or percentage-based, like a portion of it. But they do stack as well. So like for example, you can get the 3 sockets, and obviously you can get like we showed say the occultist curse explosion. Like if you just want to go all in on the chance of that, you could try and get that on all 3 of them. But again, it's going to be pretty rare. They're unmodifiable, but again tradable. And I'm expecting, again, going under the philosophy of I want you to be able to find these NPCs and occasionally find something worth a lot. I do want it to be that occasionally you find one and you get multiple divines worth of a trade because you find just the perfect charm.
And again, you don't have to be that class to find the charm.
Yes, we'll keep reiterating that. Yes.
Yeah,
Always
there's
check
some
the shops.
Yeah, the shops
there's some wealth to be had.
should be valuable. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it sounds like it. Are there any limitations to this Primalist shouting items at corpses thing? It's like, are people just going to be going around shouting at every corpse for extra loot?
Well, it's one of these interesting, and this one's been very controversial, I'll point out, internally. Don't get me wrong. See, for me, I really like it because it's a thing where if you're an efficient... Well, okay, let's think of it a few different ways. Firstly, if you're destroying corpses, it doesn't work, right? There's no body left to get loot from. So you can deal with spikers and or the porcupines and among other things. But so we had a bit of a
we're back now.
A Discord dip there. I'm going to just start that part again. But one thing to note is that yes, you have to have the corpse around, which means you have to be playing a build that doesn't destroy corpses. Meaning, of course, you have to deal with the porcupine Goliaths. I don't know who heard that before, but whatever. And then the other thing to note is it actually rewards slower players more than faster players because you have to Warcry, which is cooldown based. Are you really going to wait around meticulously Warcrying on every single corpse, or are you just going to move on and kill more monsters and run more maps? And so if you want to get the most out of your map, of course, that's a way to do it. But if you want to get most out of your time, that is not the way to do it. So yes, you could like Warcry, bind it to your left click and then just Warcry whenever it's available and get whatever loot you can get.
I reckon opening the chests is the
opening
that's time efficient.
Opening chests is a big time.
That's the main use of that skill, I would say.
But it is worth noting, just to get into some specifics of how that works as well. It doesn't care about the monster's quantity and rarity.
Hey, Glenn Davis, I'm doing well. How you doing today?
So a boss is just going to occasionally drop like an item, if that. It doesn't like re-drop all its drops, so it's not like ultra powerful. Due to that, it's probably honestly going to yield a little bit more. Like it's more for like getting a little bit of extra currency than it is getting like unique items and rare items and stuff like that.
I'll ask
Glad
the
to hear it.
question that
You Path of
get
Exile
when you added
player?
the backpack inventory expansion. Do you think you'll give this to people outside of the Primalist?
Short answer, no.
I'm not interested
But
in
I
buying
mean,
any
look, we
artwork.
chuck
Sorry.
these in, we
Good luck
experiment
out
for
there.
3 months, and we see. This was also the node of the second highest level of controversy internally. So we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. But like, I do not see that thing returning outside of the Primalists after the league, even if the league happens to go core. You know.
Yeah.
Controversial league design, it sounds like, internally. Oof.
Well, they're 3 month
Tension.
experiments,
Yeah,
essentially.
we like to try things.
I say controversy. It's fun.
It's not like there's a shouting match or anything going on, right? Like it's just.
Well, one of us isn't shouting. No.
Yeah, dude, it's
We've
incessant.
got some more chat
Like,
questions on Affliction before we move on to some of the other features.
I don't get them on
We're into
YouTube. That's the one
wildwood
thing. They're
style,
always
the ones
on
posted in the
Twitch
chat. Is it
and
a
like
continual exploration,
occasionally
or
on
is it
Kick.
new each time?
But yeah, I'd say like 90% of the traffic to the stream is just like people trying to fucking sell their artwork, dude. It's yeah, it is completely incessant. It's kind of getting tiring.
It's new exploration. It isn't a continuous from the previous.
I'd say it's like it's proportional. Like regardless of whether it's Kick or Twitch, like 90% of the traffic is these guys. Yeah, maybe even like 95%, honestly.
Tradable or collected as currency items at all?
Yeah, it's like it's clear that they just look for people with like no viewers who don't have any custom banner stuff, and they're just like, oh, buy my shit. It's like, please, I'm just like.
Because once you leave the wildwood.
Yeah, like I honestly think that they're real people. Like I actually don't. I mean, I'm sure maybe some of them have been bots, but like the majority of them, it's like I don't know. I feel like they're actually real people, but like they all like work in the same sweatshop or something. Like
sweet.
I don't know. They at least like sound enough like humans, like people who like don't speak English first language for sure. But I don't get the vibe that they're actually bots, but I'm not sure.
Given an advantage as a range character to shoot into it, and you will not be attacked from it. They will not do similar to Delve Darkness. They will come out of the darkness before they engage with you. And generally, only things you reveal will actually engage with you.
Do map modifiers from the area you entered the wildwood from affect the wildwood, or is it completely separate zone in that regard?
The map mods do affect it, yes. And
oh wow.
Yeah, I think that's basically what it is, and I can't imagine like they get that many people actually buying the shit. Like, if I was actually gonna look for some custom art, like I'd be looking on people's like Twitters or their Etsy's or something, or wherever the fuck it is that people host their art. Like, I wouldn't be buying it from some random who like just jumps into my chat one day. But I don't know, and it's like, and there's just so many of them that it's like, I imagine I'm not the only low viewer count streamer out there getting a ton of these people every day, so it's like there must be a ton of these people like doing this shit. It's just like I can't imagine they actually like can make any money doing this, But like I don't know, maybe they get the one person to spend $50 and like that's that's their salary for the month. Who knows?
You're freeing. It sounds like a bit of a map juicing league.
Yeah, right. Like you'd want to like find an artist you like, and then like ask them to do a commission for you. Be like, hey, like I really like your stuff. Like, can you do something in this style? Like what do you charge?
You might think, okay, the wisps disperse.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like the ones who I've entertained and like, like gone to their websites to see like what their work looks like, it all looks fucking identical. Like it like literally all works like it all looks like it's either being generated by the same AI platform or it's like all just the same person like hiring these people to like go out and find people to buy their shit, And like I'm not sure which of those it is, but it's like it's all the exact fucking same style, and it's all like low quality shit too. It's like it doesn't look good.
All right, talking a bit about Ultimatum, the long-awaited return. It has been a long time in the returning. Did you face some specific challenges with its re-implementation or something?
Main challenge, I guess, was finding time to actually do the rebalance and reassess it. But like once we found,
I'd imagine like there must be some AI app that they have where they can just like
But yeah, it just comes down to time.
Yeah, right. I think that's exactly it. Where you can just like feed in a few keywords and it'll just like shit out a banner and shit out a profile pic, and it's like, oh look, you got assets with the colors you asked for and with like the buzzwords you asked for, which are related to the the theme of that streamer's profile or whatever. It's
it is quite a lot.
I highly doubt it's like a real person actually like
it's gonna be
sitting
very
down
different
and
to how it
doing
was given
these,
the Atlas
you know,
passives as well, and how you can
doing these
modify
works for
them
all
to
these
make it
clients.
relatively
I
fun.
would
But
assume it's
taking
just
that into
someone, you know,
consideration as well is
like, yeah,
something
like
that
you said,
we
casting a
really
wide
thought
net and
about
like the couple bites they get, you know, they
Why do you think that
they just
ultimatum was
throw
so
it into
popular and so
their
many
app and,
requested
you
to
know,
return that? It was
have the
number
work
one
done in
thing
10
asked
minutes.
about at ExileCon.
But
Is
yeah,
there
it's like
anything
it's
to,
the
like,
same
rank
spiel
them
from
future
all of them.
league
Like you can
votes?
tell right away if, you know, they all join up and say the exact same thing, you know.
think about it, and also why do
I mean, sometimes there's a little variety to it. Sometimes they'll ask you where you're from or what you
the mod
do, and then,
selection
you
is
know,
fun.
it's
I
like,
like
you
how it
know,
works
oh,
on
well, I'm an
parties as
illustrator,
well.
or, you know, I
like
help
Aurora
streamers with their
Affliction, I love
assets.
playing
You
at
know,
parties
it's like,
where you get to
yeah,
vote on the
it's
mods.
like, fuck
and you go and
off. I'm
pick
so
the
tired
mod
of
that
it.
no one wants just because you want to. Or you're an aura bot and you pick that mod that causes your auras to apply to the enemies, and you just then hopefully your teammate, yeah.
And the double or nothing
Chaos.
stuff is also very. I don't want to use the word addictive because that's a bad word these days, but definitely addictive.
Oh, I love that, and I think a lot of people resonate with that as well. Where you when you've got the divine orbs on the line, or the headhunter on the line, or like just whatever items on the line, it's like the thrill is just, you know, it gives you that adrenaline rush that like I almost used to get in hardcore league. You know, when I actually played that a lot more. Rest in peace.
It's risk reward, to put it another way, right? It's good risk
Sure.
reward stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
I think it had like a unique pacing too, with like intense action, break, intense action, break. That
Oh yeah, for sure. I like that as well a lot. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say too many lessons learned aside from just like, or like, you know, how we can use things in the future. But I guess, yeah, ultimately the risk reward and the pacing are probably the two biggest ones.
Do you want to talk about what happened with the combat changes to do with rare monsters and stuff in Ultimatum?
Yeah, I think it was around the time there was a lot of there was a bit of like, how do we make this harder that went on, and it ended up just cranking the rare monsters up. Like there was just points where there were like 9 rare of those blood chieftains on your screen, and the problem with that, especially with like obviously now looking at rare modifiers, like the level of visual pollution that adds, and like you can't even tell what's happening. Like there was a lot of going on in that league where there's just a massive crossfire of projectiles and just like a whole bunch of rare monsters, and like so we've gone with almost a more what we call expedition style balance, which is just like tone that down but make each monster individually more difficult and more meaningful. So it should be that it is less like more comprehensible in the moment as to what you're actually fighting and what you're actually doing, and still difficult, as opposed to just like spam everything, like crank up the rare monster number to infinity. But that's mostly I think of what's going on. It's just which is honestly been working pretty well with respect to our monster balance lately. Right.
So Metamorph is getting removed as a part of this coming back of Ultimatum, with its unique rewards going to Ultimatum. Can you tell me a little bit about that decision, like to remove Metamorph?
There's a few things going on there, but the first is just the visual clarity of it again. Going back to that, like you put these monsters together and then it just does this kind of like morphing thing. I mean, look, I've played this a lot, and it transforms into something and then I'm dead. I'm like, I don't even know what just happened. Like, what killed me here? I actually don't know. And it is meant to be the case that obviously I know what monsters I'm putting in, and I'm like, I'm putting in this monster, this monster, this monster, and I know these do this skills, and because this one's in the brain slot, it does this big AoE. But the reality is, like, that's way too much to try and know and remember, and like, there's hundreds of monsters with hundreds of skills going on there, and it's like, you can't really tell. And so when you do put it together, it's like, oh, I like these rewards, and you put those in, and that's ultimately what you do as a player for that. And so you put in a monster, it spawns, and you maybe just insta-die or you maybe not. And getting that right is just pretty impossible, I would say. Like, I love the mechanic in a nutshell of you get to put monsters together to create a new boss fight, but it just wasn't working.
It was never my favorite league visually either. I just don't think it really looks that great.
Oh no, we dropped. I'm sure we'll get things back in just a second here, folks. Until then, enjoy the sliver of the side of my head while we get things repaired. We'll be back in just a moment.
Alright. I think I'm gonna call it there. It's almost 5 o'clock anyway. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna be around tonight if you want to do some Lethal Company in a bit. Just hit me up on Discord. See y'all later.